So we have a lot to talk about today. A lot.
Yeah, let's
Like,
jump into
why
it.
does so much stuff happen during the week?
Let's jump into it. So it came out that Drea, what's going on everybody's YouTube, blah blah blah, Facebook, Twitch,
Twitch. We're not even on Twitch or Facebook.
what's going on everybody? It's your boy Alex J alongside Mal, and this is the A Couple of Things podcast where we are here to talk about a couple of things. A lot has gone on in the news in the past week or so. I am sick, so if you hear me being all nasally, this is gonna be my flu game. So a lot of stuff has
Yeah.
happened, but we're gonna jump right into it. So
The last week just been crazy.
first and foremost, and this is all alleged, I believe. So, Drea, what's her name? Drea Michelle? Is that her name?
I think so.
I know it might sound crazy at all that I don't really keep up with uh, any of the reality TV stars, but I really legitimately don't. But I believe her name is Michelle. I feel like I've seen that last
Yeah.
name.
Or at least her middle name.
Yeah,
You know, people go by their first and middle.
yeah. That was definitely big on Facebook. I remember those days.
Yeah.
But anyway, so
Huh.
Drea, she is 39 years of age, and she is
Wow.
dating Jalen Green, who, for those of you that don't know, he is a basketball player, and he is 21 years old, and they're allegedly, no, they're definitely dating, right?
I think so, because they were holding hands and stuff. I'm
Right, so
pretty
they're
sure.
definitely dating, but allegedly she might be pregnant, and this led to another conversation, because we typically have the conversation of guys that are older pursuing younger women, but
And we talked about that last week
right, we
with
did.
Boston
So
Richie.
if y'all didn't check that episode out, definitely make sure to go check that out. But one thing that we don't tend to talk about is that this actually does occur on both sides. Obviously, it's more predominantly older men that go after younger women, but older women actually do go after younger men as well. But I would say that I typically have seen that mostly in the entertainment space. I don't know if I've seen many examples of that in quote unquote real life. But
The reason you say you see more examples in entertainment.
yeah,
Well, yeah, the reason is because they're gold diggers. So
yeah,
the common denominator is money.
yeah, because with men pursuing younger women, it's still about money, but I feel like I see that more in real life.
What do you mean? Older men pursuing women is about money.
Though the women, it's always about money.
Oh yeah, the woman's about money, but I'm talking about the
Yeah,
man. I'm talking about who, like, because the older person in both scenarios is the weirdo. So
right.
in the situation where the older man is pursuing a younger woman, the older man's intentions is young, impressionable, and those are the main two things. They might want a younger girl. They might be borderline predators, impressionable, so they get away with more. The older woman is money.
Yeah,
Because the younger people, we are considering the victims, so we're not talking about what their intentions are. We're talking about what the older people's intentions are. So the older woman is money, and like I said, it's entertainment. You don't really, well, you know what, you do see in the real world though.
I don't know if I see older women pursuing younger men
Yeah,
in
you
real
do.
life.
There's cases every other weekend about the teacher, a woman teacher, getting arrested for having sexual relations with their students. You hear about those stories all the time. I mean, you know me, I keep my ear to the news, but you definitely hear a lot of those stories about women teachers being arrested. You don't hear those stories a lot?
Yeah, but that's like a weird niche thing.
Yeah, but it's still like the weirdo woman. Because we're still, the bottom line between the men and the women in a lot of these scenarios, they are kind of like weird predators in a way. Borderline. So when we talk about the psychology of older women pursuing younger men, it still probably has a similar psychology to men. Like a lot of it, especially in entertainment space, it's money. But some of it does have to do with like women just having this weird likeness for young impressionable men. Same way older men might have that same feeling, right? Because they feel you're naive. They get gassed up more, right? Because that man's an experience in life. So if it's sexually charged, then the woman's probably getting that validation because they're experienced, they're older, and they're probably giving this younger guy an experience that they might not have had before. So they almost get a sense of validation. There's a lot of weird underlying stuff, but
Yeah,
in the entertainment space, it's definitely about money. Yeah.
yeah. So it led to a conversation about just gold digging predators, and I don't know if it's more of a trend now, but there's just a few different examples of uh, women that pursue younger men. Um, Now, people call them predators. I don't know, because when we talked about this last week about age gaps, I let other people kind of define that. Like I said last week, for anybody that didn't see that episode, I said anything above 4 years for me is pushing it. So some of these examples we have Drea 39, Jalen Green 21, like we're talking about, Joey Chavez. I feel like I've heard that name before, but don't know who that is. But she's 35. Trayvon Diggs, who's on the Cowboys, he's 25. Tay Heckard is 45, and Stephon Diggs is 30, and Bernice Burgos is 43, and Jalen Brown is 27. So those are just a few of the different examples. But yeah, I think we should treat this in the same way that we treat Hollywood, although Hollywood be insane. Like Al Pacino, bro, what is the Al Pacino age gap? That girl that he just got pregnant.
Oh, the one he just had a baby, right?
Yeah.
Isn't he 80?
Yeah.
Ugh.
Nah.
And the
Hold on.
girl's like has to be in her late 20s, right? Or 30s.
Yeah, let me see. He had the 54-year age gap.
And how old is she?
29. And he's 83.
That's just so gross. Ew. Ew.
Now, Al Pacino was definitely sick. Well, both of them are sick in this situation.
Yeah. Because you're not, because come on, you know that 29-year-old don't care about him.
Yeah. And it's a shame because Al Pacino
And you let that
is a legend. But
wow, you let that man ejaculate in you.
why'd you put
And
that visual in my head?
Cause like it's just
I
like,
never want to see.
but you know how messed up these women's morals and moral compasses are, because it's like, come on, for money, and like I get it, you want that lifelong bag, like you're set for life now.
Yeah.
And he definitely believes that you probably there for love.
Or he doesn't know.
Yeah, and he's getting something out of it too, right?
Care, right?
Cause he's getting a benefit too. Like you're with a young woman.
And he probably got so much money he really don't even care to give up
Yeah.
anymore.
Ew. But yeah, it's just weird. That's weird.
Yeah, the whole industry, because we could talk about entertainment industry forever. It's like, I don't know. Like that's what I was saying. I feel like I'm just gonna end up repeating the same thing. Like I feel like this is a lot of the same conversation from last week. But
Yeah.
anything beyond 4 years for me is like, I just know where I was at a particular time. So I can't imagine dating with the mentality that I had really beyond 4 years. And 4 years is even pushing it because like my mentality changes so much throughout the year. So like me in 2024, me in 2022, I'm like, I don't know how much I'd be able to even gain from somebody.
Well, I don't know if we've changed much since 2022 to 2024.
Personally, yeah, I think.
You changed a lot in those 2 years?
Yeah, for sure.
In what ways? Because not like we weren't doing anything different than we're doing now. Like we went to Dubai that year, so we was traveling still.
No, for sure. It's a more so like a.
Could have just turned 2024, so realistically, it's only been a year.
Right, and that's like the thing. I can't really. I'm not gonna really share it because it's kind of like more personal, internal mentality growth kind of thing. But for sure.
Well, yeah.
Because
if you take like how 2022 ended.
Correct. That's kind of
versus
that's kind of
how
what
2024 started.
That's kind of what I'm getting at.
And how 2023 was like a huge growth year, I think, for both of us, because of the things that like we went through and talked about and stuff.
Yeah, that's what I'm speaking to.
Yeah.
So like with certain stuff,
you can think about how our brains were wired before the end of that year. A lot that we thought our thought process was a lot different. Yeah. So that's a good point.
Yeah. So it's not like it's just because of myself. Like I look for other, like what I look for in others is what I look for in myself. So if I was looking to someone that, like right now I'm 27, if I was looking into like a relationship with someone that's like 19, it's like there's not enough life experience and the type of maturity that I had at 19. Like I could put myself back in that brain and that mindset, and it just wouldn't be able to do anything for me at my current status. So I just don't get it. Because
like it reminds me of when we were at the Travis show, and the girls next to us, who funny enough they found my TikToks, and they were like, "Oh, we were next to you." I'm like, "I know," but it was just funny that they found me. But like, you just remember how they were acting. And it's like a part of me was like kind of really annoyed with it, but then another part of me was like, you know what? When we were in college, we probably would act like that too. We probably would do a lot of obnoxious, annoying people thinking we popping, we the coolest people ever, like we lit. Cause we our first time getting super drunk and being on our own, so we was feeling ourselves. And you could just tell they were really like kind of obnoxious, annoying. And I'm like, we were like that too. But imagine dating that, like how those girls were acting. Imagine dating that. It's like they were so annoying. I mean, if they find it somehow, sorry, you guys, you were a little annoying, but I'm
Yeah.
sure they won't see this. But it's just funny that they found my TikToks. But
Yeah. So that's like secondary though. That's like me just not even being able to relate to the person. But
yeah,
the first part is just like the predatory part.
yeah. Because you know
And
that person at 19 is, because you were 19 at one point. We all were.
yeah,
So you know that brain is still, that's still, I want to say a
that,
kid, because that's infant, how you say that word? Infantilizing them. But you're not a grown adult either. Like you just turned 18, 19. Like you're only a year or two away from, like there's people in high school who are 19. If you're like one of the older people who got left back, 18 is like the average age, right? We were 17 when we graduated because we have late birthdays, but most people graduate high school at 18. So if you're submitting exams, SATs, you're still having to raise your hand to go to the bathroom. You still have a teenage brain. You still have a kid-like brain. So at 19, you're only a year removed from that, and you're still in college, where you're still, kind of feel like you still got homework and stuff to do.
yeah.
So why do you want to have something to do with somebody like that?
Right. So if you're 19 or you're 20 and you're still doing homework, I just don't get what a 43, 58, 60-year old
You're
has to do with it.
so far removed from school at that point.
And this is gonna sound insane, but hopefully it comes across the right way. Like I get it from the predatory perspective of what a 60-year-old would want for what a 19-year-old.
Yeah.
Hopefully that doesn't
No.
sound crazy. Hopefully you know what I mean.
No, yeah, because they're just creeps.
Right.
They want younger girls. They want
But
that freshness that they assume.
freshness is insane.
Yeah,
But
that's what they be saying.
But aside from that, there's literally nothing else you can gain. Like, bro, she doing the homework, and like you're 5 years from retirement. Like, you could get Social Security soon, and I just don't get it,
Like you're so far removed from school that you probably can't even reiterate what a daily day
bro. Don't
looks
even
like.
know how to do algebra.
You don't even know what the classrooms look like nowadays. Like, cause in my brain, sometimes I'm thinking they still got smart boards and stuff. I'm like, they probably don't got no smart boards.
Some smart boards was popping
Are
a
they?
a while ago.
Now,
and even
what are
and
they
even
using
then,
now?
and even then we didn't have them.
What are they using now? Yeah, cause you remember the smart boards? Like they were like hard screens, and
Yeah.
people sometimes the teachers would actually use markers on it by accident and mess up the screen.
Yeah,
What are they using now? Do you know?
I wouldn't know. They probably got touch screens, all types
Yeah.
of crazy like holograms.
But that just goes to show we're so
wouldn't
far
know.
removed. We don't even know what schooling looks like anymore.
We weren't in college that long
We
ago.
don't even know what schooling looks like in a school shooting type of world because like school shootings happen, but I feel like they're so much more common now since we graduated that there's definitely a lot of different protocols and stuff now. But I mean, they still happen. But don't you feel like there's so much more since we graduated?
Yeah, definitely.
Like so much more.
I don't think that's a debate.
Yeah. 'Cause we graduated 2014, so
Dang.
since then you had a Parkland, 10 years ago. Parkland in Florida, Oxford, there's a whole bunch. But those are the two ones that stand out for me.
Yeah. So like the question about the age gaps when it comes to women is that they should be treated the same way, but it's like of course we deal with a society full of double standards and stuff like that. So this would be another one of those things where it's a double standard because there's double standards that benefit both male and female.
Yeah.
And this is one of the ones that benefit female more is that they're not going to be looked at as more of a predatory type person because society, but also just in general, I think the way women aren't as predatory. They're just not because they're just not wired that way.
They can be though.
They can be. No, they could be even more predatory than men can be. But
Because you hear a lot of men that talk about their first experiences with their mom's friends, some older women, creepy, while they were under the age of 18. Like not really, I'm talking about age gaps. You're talking about like a 12-year-old, 13-year-old boy, and somebody's 40-year-old mom's friend. Like that's weird.
Yeah, of course there's that's what I'm saying. Like there's more commonalities with men doing it. We tend to disregard the women that do it.
Mm-hmm.
And when they do it, we're so conditioned to not view it in that same way because when you look at a woman, like they just look soft and like loving.
Yeah.
So it's really hard a lot of times to imagine women doing like harmful things to people.
That's why we always talk about how we sometimes think women are actually more evil.
No, women are definitely
because
more
they
evil.
could get it off. The manipulation, like women love to talk about how manipulative men are, but women are far more manipulative because they could get off with that soft spokenness. They could get off with the feminine image,
Yeah.
the looks, the puppy eyes. Like
I'm just a
they
girl.
could get I'm just a girl. Like they could get away with so much more. So for them to try to act like men are these master manipulators, which not saying that men aren't not manipulators too, but women definitely could get manipulate a lot more, and do, and
They
they
do.
do,
They definitely do.
and a lot of men have died behind that.
That's a whole other
Like that
conversation.
actor, that
That's a whole.
Merlin Santana, and the girl lying on him,
Yeah.
and the man just being so probably worked by this his girl and so angry, and she probably was all like, "Oh, he did this and that," and now he's dead, and she lied. So, women are definitely are evil. As a woman, I think I have the right to say that.
The whole Emmett Till story.
Yeah,
But anyway, that's a whole deeper, darker criminal link. We ain't even gonna get into that. But yeah, it's because women just have that soft appeal that we just are gonna overlook some of the stuff that they do. And this is one of those things where the double standard kind of works in their favor a little bit, where we're not gonna look at them as intense and intently as we would if these age gaps were reversed, which we do, right? We'll criticize Leonardo DiCaprio. We'll
yeah,
criticize a lot of the people in Hollywood. Like I told you the other day, they were doing an age comparison for athletes and their girls, and we named a few athletes here, and the age gaps are nuts. But for the most part, when you look at it across the board, they're all very similar. They're
yeah.
like the same. And people in the comments were like, "I'm surprised by this because blah 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 blah," because of Hollywood. But
I'm
it's
actually shocked
like,
that people are surprised. 'Cause a lot of these athletes meet their partners prior to their fame.
yeah.
So in school, where you are around people your age.
But yeah, it's the difference between athletes and Hollywood. Hollywood is where all of the weird stuff is,
Yeah,
and athletics is
athletes are
weird
more
too.
normal people that just are good at sports. They don't
Yeah.
care. They didn't really want fame. They just want the money and they want, to play ball.
Right. So it's like completely different. They have like a certain type of work ethic. Like Hollywood, you could pop up and do one movie a year and make a ton of money. Like football and these athletics. Not that I
Year
would say
round.
they have more to lose, but they definitely do. I'll just jump off the ledge and say that they do more work for their craft than Hollywood
Yeah,
does.
you have no choice. You
Yeah, and
have to keep working.
I know for all of the Hollywood people, I know that there's method acting and all that kind of stuff, but be real, most people aren't method acting. Nobody's getting so immersed in a role. That's reserved for certain type of people. Like Heath Ledger, obviously, Daniel Day-Lewis, Leonardo DiCaprio, like yes, obviously the
And
very
what's
top
that
tier
guy?
people.
Dave Chappelle just talked about it. Who remember he met
Oh,
somebody?
Jim Carrey.
Yeah,
Yeah. Those it's for specific people, but let's be honest, like most of the comedies and TV shows and movies, the people aren't like they're not doing so much method acting. So I'll jump off the ledge and say athletes put more work into their craft than Hollywood does, and I think it's indicative of the fact that you could pull up to a shoot a movie in like a month, and then not do anything for 11 more months, and all you're doing is just partying. Like you're just so much more
but athletes literally
susceptible
are training all year
all year
round. They probably
round.
only take a small break. Most of, like right now, like that's the joke. Go to Cancun,
Look at baseball.
but yeah,
Spring training in baseball starts in March,
yeah,
and the season ends like in November,
yeah. So you like a few months.
and then you do winter
And even
workouts.
then, you might do preseason stuff. Like when I ran in high school, there was no breaks. I
Yeah.
ran maybe 2 weeks. Then it was summer. Spring track. It's 2 weeks. Then you just preseason for cross country. You run through cross country. 2 weeks after cross country ends, winter track. 2 weeks after track ends, spring track. And now we're back to the cycle. So now, and that was just me in high school, and there was no breaks. So I can imagine professional athletes, very small breaks.
Yeah, so yeah, Hollywood's just weird, but we definitely should treat these women in the same way that men get treated for the age gap kind of thing, because it is still predatory. Or like people bring up the Brittany Renner thing too, where there's an age gap there, not as drastic, but
Yeah.
still trying to trap people.
Or a lot of women I've been hanging out with, like the streamers.
Yeah,
Like, was it Brittany Renner or who was that?
Tiana.
Tiana Trump hanging out with Kai and stuff. And like there was another older girl who I think Speed just farted at her. I don't know if she was older. I don't know if she was older. But you saw that Speed farted in a girl's face?
Yeah, but I didn't know who it was.
Yeah, I don't know. But maybe I'm confusing that with something else. But definitely Tiana Trump was like a huge thing. Like, why are you hanging out with 21-year-olds, 22-year-olds, right? They're like 22, 21. It's a little weird. So, I don't know. It's just a shame because we could say these things and maybe society will change because society has changed over time. But I just feel like it'll be a while maybe that women will really get called out and like scrutinized for these things, like publicly shamed the way that the men are. But Drea was getting a lot of heat, so
Yeah.
if she really is pregnant, like, cause this is all skepticism. But if it comes out that she really is pregnant, I wouldn't be shocked that she gets a lot of hate.
Yeah.
Because it is weird. Like, come on, he's 21. You're 40 basically. So I hope people give her that same energy they give Nikki about being 40. Like, you're 40. What do you have anything to do with a 21-year-old? Somebody who just became legal to drink. And you got pregnant by him? And was she already pregnant by another young guy?
Man,
I forgot about that.
I wouldn't know.
PJ Tucker?
Wait, hold up.
Yeah. Wasn't that Drea? Where have you been?
I'm sorry I don't keep up with Drea.
I'm talking about PJ. Aren't you a sports fan?
Yeah, but I don't keep up with PJ Tucker either.
Okay, but that was big news. This was like years ago.
I didn't know PJ Tucker was big news.
Yeah. Him having a baby with Drea? Wasn't it him?
I don't know, PJ.
Am I thinking of something else?
Yeah, PJ Tucker has nothing to do with.
Wait.
You're thinking about somebody else.
Drea.
Jesus Christ, PJ Tucker is a grown man.
Wait, where did that name come from?
PJ Tucker's like 30 something.
Who is that? Didn't she have a baby with somebody? She had a baby with somebody.
That's why I just coughed. I'm like, since when was PJ Tucker involved with Drea? Like, all PJ Tucker does is ball and collect sneakers.
Drea, let me see. X. You know what? This is a girl on TikTok who's actually dating or married to him now. Her ex. Was it Drea? Who's the one? Oh no, I think it was Brittany. Brittany Renner.
You're talking about PJ Washington.
PJ Washington. Oh my God, I'm
PJ Tucker.
PJ, why was PJ somebody? Okay, so she's 31 years old. How old is PJ Washington? Is this him? Paul Jermaine?
Yeah.
25? 6-year age gap. But still, people still kind of said that was kind of weird. And she had a baby by him.
Yeah.
You knew about that, right? Brittany Renner and.
Well, if you listen back a few minutes ago, when we listened to the footage again, then yes, I brought that up already.
Oh, I'm deaf.
It's okay. You don't pay attention to me.
I do pay attention.
It's okay, y'all. She don't pay attention.
Okay. To me. Then how can we just completely act like well, because I said the wrong.
You said PJ Tucker, and you said Drea and PJ. You got both people wrong. So sorry, I wasn't connecting the dots there. But yeah.
Yeah. So weirdos. Women need to get more scrutinized, and then I don't think it will stop because men have been getting scrutinized forever, and it's clearly it still hasn't stopped. So it wouldn't stop. But
nobody really cares.
And nobody really cares at the end of the day. Like, people are gonna keep doing what they do. Like, you see even R. Kelly when he was getting called out for stuff and went to jail and trial. No, he didn't go to jail, but went to trial. He still kept doing his dirt until finally it caught up with him. So it's just a weird, creepy world we live in. I just think the best thing to do is just stick to yourself and protect people around you. Just hope that you don't have any of those weirdos in your circle. And that's really all you could do.
Yep.
People are all gonna make their own decisions at the end of the day, and that's all you know. I know grooming is a thing, but yeah, if it's two consenting adults at the end of the day, then you can't really say nothing. And that's all that matters.
Yep.
But we can still say it's weird.
In other celeb news, we got the leak of a jail call between Mariah the Scientist and Young Thug. So I already know what angle you're going to take with this one, but I'll speak first. So, for background, even though y'all don't need background, basically a jail call leaked between Mariah the Scientist and Young Thug when she had a visit. Obviously, he's in jail currently, unfortunately. But the angle I'm going to take with this one, because I already know where you're going to go with it, but...
Yeah, you already know. I'm about to go in.
The angle I'm going to take with this one is that aside from what we already know what the judicial system is in America, and we know how corrupt police are and judges are and people in power and people in law and people in politics, and we know how all that works. People are going to abuse their power. There's never any real consequences. Like, we were just watching what was the Netflix thing, American Nightmare, where the chief of police is telling the lieutenant, or I think he was, to burn somebody that they thought was lying, but she really wasn't lying, and she actually got sexually assaulted multiple times, and they thought, and kidnapped, and they thought she was lying, so they went on a press conference and accused her, of lying when obviously that didn't happen.
And
And he
he probably
gets
still has a job.
he does yeah, he still has his job.
And the lead detective got like cop of the year, the same year.
Yeah. And no charges come against these people. They're not going to be held liable for anything. That's just the way the law works in America. Unfortunately, it's not a due process. There's no such thing. And we could go through a million examples of that. But further to that point, right? Like, you don't see anybody else's jail calls being leaked or put out or anything at all. This is a private conversation between two individuals that's supposed to be secure and private, right? We can't just go log in and see everybody's jail calls and listen to what they're discussing and private information that they may be discussing. They could have been talking about family matters. They could have been talking about literally anything. And they know that those calls are recorded in general for the police. You can't say or do certain things in
they're just
general
being
on the calls.
monitored.
So they're being monitored. They know that part.
Yeah.
But that's not consenting to the rest of the world hearing a private conversation between two people.
Yeah.
So the fact that these kind of things can leak and occur and then nothing negative is going to happen from that, the person's still going to have their job. Nobody cares. What probably happened is that TMZ and these different companies are so tapped in with everybody that they offer these people little $5,000, $2,000, $3,000. Give us information about this and we'll send you $5,000. We'll send you $10,000. We'll send you $20,000, whatever, for whatever news you can leak to them. And people and TMZ is so connected to they're on
everything.
They got direct lines with the police departments. If you ever wonder, like for people that don't know, if you ever wonder why TMZ is never wrong about anything that they put out, and they're like one of the first people to always put stuff out, it's because they have a direct line with all of the parties that are involved in these different things. So if they need to get some information about somebody in jail or there's something in an investigation, they're connected with the police. They're connected with these different people because there's nothing, I don't think, illegal saying that the police aren't allowed to speak to the press. TMZ is technically press.
And the thing is too, like, you know me, I watch a lot of crime stuff. So like the press really is the only communicative channel. Like the police don't have their own official their official like press. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they don't have their own networks.
A lot of times, like when I'm watching this crime stuff on YouTube, they say like, "Oh, I'm gonna reach out to so and so at News Nation because they probably have some information." Because like they know that the press gets information from the police, or they get information from people within, like different workers in the force, like that are getting maybe money, like you said. Yeah, and, getting under the table money from the press.
Yeah, and that's like a known fact. Like,
and that's been the thing.
Right. So probably what happened is somebody probably got hit up by TMZ. Yo, we'll send you $2,000 if you can get us a conversation that those two had together. Like I guarantee you, that's literally what happened.
Or they were like, whenever something funny or juicy comes up,
send it to us.
So they gotta watch it anyway.
And people are in, like, not everybody is in a comfortable situation, right? Because I'm always of the belief not all money is good money. So there's certain things where my moral compass comes into play, and I won't necessarily do something for money, even if it's pretty sizable. I don't know if I'm leaking a jail call for $2,000.
Yeah, like come on.
Like 2,000 isn't really.
2,000 moved you.
And it might not even be that. It could have been $500. Honestly, it could have been because maybe they thought that they couldn't have foreseen this was going to be as big of a thing as it was.
Mm-hmm.
But no matter what, like these things shouldn't happen, and that shit is unacceptable. Like this is our law. Like this shit is a joke. Really.
Yeah, it's a joke. And like honestly, if I was Mariah, I would be cooking up a lawsuit as we speak.
Yeah, I don't even know what type of charges you could bring upon the jail or anybody like that, but I'm bringing something.
Do pretty big charges. Like if she looks in the fine print and about like her rights and what should have been protected, I'm sure it was something crazy. I mean, this wouldn't be able to mess with the trial though, right? Because sometimes stuff like this could mess with the trial integrity. Because it's like, how are we trusting this system who can't even protect phone calls? But I don't know if they could go as far as like a mistrial, which no one wants a mistrial anyway. Because who wants to go through all this again?
Yeah,
but, they try to get the case thrown out. I don't think they can get the case thrown out over this, but
yeah, I don't know if I would even. It would be worth bringing that in from a lawyer's perspective, but so yeah, it's that's just the angle I'm gonna take, and that's kind of where I'm gonna leave it, and I'll let you go. But yeah, it's just wild to me that these kind of things just come out because it's like this is our law. Like this is supposed to be the governing bodies that make sure everybody does right by others. And it's just like kind of wild that these kind of things are able to come out, even though the conversation, nothing was crazy necessarily about things that were discussed.
Yeah, but it
It's
was
just
private.
like, yeah, it's private. It's a private conversation, for God's
And
sakes.
then you got
Like,
the whole world judging you,
yeah, it's crazy. But
including me. I'm just kidding. Not
go ahead, tell them why you judging.
Let me see my notes to see so I make sure I don't miss anything. But not like I'm necessarily judging Mariah. I'm gonna make that straight. I'm not really necessarily when I'm about to talk about. I'm not necessarily judging her, especially because like I don't agree with this even being leaked. It's not like she wanted the world to know this, so I'm not necessarily judging her. But a lot of people on Twitter are like defending her, and they were like, "Well, if you guys are judging Mariah, like I'm not saying nothing because if only you guys heard what I be saying to my man, like that was a lot of tweets, and like somebody said, they said, "Why is Mariah the scientist acting like a baby? Y'all don't act like babies with y'all niggas?" Question mark. And then she did the emoji with the hiding your eyes, peeking your eyes through. So, what I wrote in my notes is we have to unpack why people do that. And you know what? I hate when you say like let's unpack something, and people are like, cause somebody said that to me like on Twitter, they're like, oh brother. Like, why isn't any time that we like have to discuss things that maybe we should be looking into? It's always, oh, you guys are so dramatic. It's like this is why we as a people can never really progress. Because anytime it's time to talk about something important, it's oh brother, here we go.
I think part of the reason is because a lot of the people, and I would actually say 99% of the people that try to initiate those conversations aren't even educated themselves.
Yeah, and they're fake woke.
Yeah, so we're just tired of hearing people always have some sort of like they feel
Something
like
to
they
say.
discovered the wheel, and they're not the people that we should be taking guidance from. So I think people are just tired of that whole fake
I get
woke
that
thing.
because people do hate the whole let's unpack this
Yeah,
because it sounds
the
like
terminology.
yeah.
Like,
But I'm being real. I'm being real. Like we really should get to the root of it. Like who cares? Do what you want. Do what you please. There maybe is a reason why people do it, whatever. But if you look at the root cause, what I think it is, calling your boyfriend, husband, any partner, intimate partner, friends of benefits, whatever, calling them daddy is like, when you really think about it, why do we do that? It's just why, And in my opinion, and what research would probably show is that it's linked to, they said sometimes because women will view their husbands or boyfriends as a protector, like a father-like figure. So maybe that's where it comes from. I think that maybe it's rooted in women having daddy issues. I feel like a lot of women, especially in our community, unfortunately don't grow up with dads in the house. And like that might be a stereotype, but there is stats behind like broken families in the Black community, right? Deadbeat dads. A lot of we talk to we know a lot of Black people, right? How many of them have their dad in their life, or maybe parents are still married? Not a lot of them, actually. Now that I think about it, like only maybe a handful of people really have like a good active father in their life. But a lot of people, I think we know, and maybe people that you even grew up with in high school, deadbeat dads or dad just not really active, right? So I think a lot of women, and not just Black women, other races too, do have daddy issues. They grew up not having that father figure. So when they get a man, that masculine energy that they're not used to being around, they're so quick to be like daddy, 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 because that's like, it's like, it might be subconscious for them, but that's what I think it is. And then what makes you confirm that is the baby voice. Because why are you doing a baby voice?
Yeah.
It's like we had this conversation about people dressing up as like Girl Scouts and schoolgirls. You bring that up, and it's oh brother, but it's real. Like why do you want to dress up as a Girl Scout, a sexy Girl Scout, or just a Girl Scout in general? Why do you want to be a Girl Scout? You're 25, you're 30. Why do you want to be a Girl Scout? Just why? Like, but if you keep asking people the why, the root of it, they'll never be able to tell you. They'll start probably stuttering because, or they'll just be like, it's cute. It's not that deep. It's not that deep. It's not that deep. But then why are you getting so defensive? It's weird. At the root of it is weird. I think we all have participated in that at one point or another.
For sure.
Like, I have a picture on my Facebook when I was like 16 wearing like a schoolgirl outfit with glasses, trying to be cute schoolgirl, and granted I was under 18, so
You were
I was in fact a schoolgirl, but I haven't done no shit like that since I've been an adult. So it's just like, don't. Oh, I thought you was looking at me.
No,
Never mind.
wait. Sorry,
Anyway,
continue.
I feel like if you really get to the root of like why, why, that's what it leads to. Because why are you doing a baby voice? Realistically, why are you doing a baby voice? And I think some of us, we just do things because it's subconscious. I don't think none of us even consciously realize we're doing it, because I find myself sometimes like beeps, but you don't know why you're doing it, and it's not necessarily you're trying to be a baby, right?
And I
Because
always point out,
sometimes people talk like that to their pets. They talk like that to babies, so it's not like you're necessarily like, you might just be like, oh, like high pitched, like comfy. People say their childlike self is coming out, but you still gotta ask why. So even something that you're so used to doing, you still gotta ask why do you do it?
yeah, I always tell you to not do that whenever you do that.
Yeah, and I don't really do that much nowadays. Like that was more so like when we was in college, like beep, and like sometimes I randomly just do it, kind of like just being annoying. But it's like, yeah, like that's why I'm calling myself out on it too, because it's like, well, why?
I want to.
Why are you doing the baby voice? And then people, all in these comments were like, you don't feel soft and childlike around your man.
Childlike is crazy.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, no, my man don't like children, so no.
To spin back on your point,
Like that's people were saying.
to spin back on your point earlier when you said that women might have absent fathers, I actually think, to add to that, I think part of this too is women might have fathers that are like, they might not have. They might actually have the opposite of what we would consider to be daddy issues, and they actually have a really strong father figure. I could see a place where women get a man and they have so many of the qualities that they admire about their dad that now they kind of are subconsciously viewing this new man as being their dad too.
That's true.
Because just in the quick little, I mean, aside from what I believe to be true myself through whatever means of knowledge that I might have, they're saying that women tend to call men that just because they're into submitting to male authority figures, or because they admire the qualities that are father-like that a male might have, which is a little nuts. But yeah, expressing affection, being or indicating that someone is a boss or in charge or a protector, all the qualities that they may like about a father, they're viewing in this male because they might feel that way, right?
Yeah.
Kind of like the same way women like guys with guns, because they feel protected. Like they feel like they're a child again, because that's what your first instance of male affection is from a father. So I think it definitely does come from absent male figures, but I think it comes also from male figures being present, because you're going to feel, not that you feel this way, but you grew up with a dad that had multiple weapons in the house. So if I had that same thing, I could imagine a world where you would feel that same level of protection and similar kind of characteristic, at least from that standpoint, that you feel protected. Like you feel when you go out that same comfort that you would feel when your dad would take you out to different places. So based on what some of the research is saying, is that women take that kind of, those similarities when they get a new male partner, and they try to identify those things because they want to find the things that they liked about their dad that made them feel comfortable. And if this man can fit those characteristics, then for whatever reason it comes out sexually, which is,
it's kind of weird.
It's weird.
And I think, you know what, I think a lot, like there's a lot of subconscious stuff in this world, right? And I do think that it is some type of, like, if we really want to get deeper, some people do have like incestuous type relationships with their parents.
More than they think they do.
More than they think they do.
It's not just about the physical part either.
Yeah. Like it gets deep. It gets real deep when you really like look into it. But people do have like, incestuous type relationships, like admiration. I don't know. It's a very weird thing. This has been since the beginning of time. Like this is just human nature. It's very weird when we really like look at it deeply. And that's why I wanted to say, like when I talk about unpacking, like I'm just like, I just like to have these conversations because it is interesting. Like the why we do things. Like people are so simple minded that they think that whenever you want to get to like the root of it, it's like you're being extra. It's like, no, like I just like, human psychology is so interesting to me. Like human behavior, culture, all that stuff like that. It's so interesting to me. Like to see how everything, where it comes from, because there is a reason for everything. And it's just very interesting. And it's like, I just think it's weird. Like I think it's weird. And then I just feel like people get, they just are extra, like on the internet. Like some people are saying like, oh, you must have never really been in love before because, this is weird. Like I have some of these tweets right now where it's like, where like this person said like, y'all don't act like babies, right? Like with your men. And she's like, no, my man's not a pedophile, so no. Like, no, I don't act like babies with him. And someone says, seriously, why would my man want me to mimic a child's voice? Someone says, exactly, because unless you like little kids, that shit would not be arousing. It would be weird.
Yeah.
Because like if your girls are like daddy, like while you're like being intimate, that's a little weird. It's like I don't like babies, I don't like kids, so why am I getting like why would that be arousing to me? And that's why I think it's just so deep when you're like,
wasn't it that
so
orphan
weird.
movie?
Yeah, the orphan. Yeah.
Yeah, like when she was doing all those like they're trying to touch him,
Yeah.
like
and try to do the babies.
Yeah, and he was weirded out.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that's how I feel. It's like very like like when they're saying about like the arousal part, like that kind of thing.
Yeah, when you really think about it like that, yeah.
Insane. I'm like, like.
And I feel like someone else outside after that, like they're like, is that not crossing the line of age play? Because some people do age play when they have sex. Like that's like a fetish for people. And I'm like, that's a good point. Like it is. Like nobody wants to admit these things, but it's weird.
Yo, send the asteroid here and just get rid of us all. I'm honestly, I don't even just get rid of everybody and let's just reset. Send us into another ice age.
And then this person said, like,
we ain't got no hope.
This person says one thing to call your man daddy, but when you do the childish voice too on top of that, it is weird.
It's weird. Like, because I can understand.
The daddy figure thing. Yeah, like because like you said, like daddy doesn't always necessarily mean you're calling your dad daddy. It's just like if you're the father, you're the dad of the household. So you might just give a masculine energy, like dad energy.
Yeah, so
fine.
Like
if you want to say, yeah, my man's daddy, he looks like daddy today, like he's the boss of the house. Fine.
And even culturally,
especially if your husband is your dad, right? Like let's say we have kids. Like
he is the dad.
Your mom probably refer to her dad to you guys as dad.
Yeah.
Just like she'll refer to her own mom to you as grandma.
Yeah.
So it's like that's not weird necessarily if you're married and have kids. You saying, oh, daddy, you look good today because that's literally the dad of your kids. Like you're not necessarily calling him daddy, but he's the dad of the house.
And culturally,
but the baby voice on top of it is what's weird.
Culturally, when you look at like when I go to my Dominican barber, they throw poppy, and mommy, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Around. So and they definitely don't use it in the weird sort of context.
Well, they do. Cause women be like, hey, why poppy? And they're having sex.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah. I mean, like
they kind of just call each other that. Like
like it's not
like affirmation, like not affirmation, but just like.
Yeah, they don't have that weird element to it.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like that. Yeah, the baby voice is really.
The baby voice is
basically what I'm trying to say. Like that, trying to like be the child to your significant other.
It's weird.
It's weird.
And then like even in the video, they said she cleared her throat to make her voice sound more babyish. Like that's crazy.
And to me, as a male, like I can't have like if we had kids, I couldn't have you imitating something that like a kid that I have like does at the same time.
Yeah.
So if you do the baby voice and say daddy, and I also have a kid that literally has a baby voice and they say daddy.
Yeah, that's creepy.
It's just weird. Like
because like it's literally just one the same, except one is an actual kid and one's an adult.
And I know obviously you can try to separate those two things, but like for me, I'm just like
when you
no.
I'm not saying you. I'm not saying you. No.
Like, cause I know what you were gonna say, but like you can separate them, but nah, you shouldn't.
Yeah,
it shouldn't work that way.
And they like that's why like like we were saying before, like a man shouldn't get off by his woman acting like a little girl / baby. Like that's gross. There's no such thing as a sexy little girl. Cause that's what they're trying to. No, this person just in the tweet is saying like there's no such thing as a sexy little girl because if people like to say like the whole voice is like, oh, I'm just being sexy. It's like how you're sounding like a child. Like no voice, unless you have women do have babyish voices. Unless you have a natural baby voice, you're trying to sound like a child. And that's really what it is. You don't want to admit it because that takes another level of self-learning, self-awareness that most people I feel are not capable of really getting to the root and understanding themselves. That takes too much brain capacity for a lot of people. So they don't want to get to that. And people don't like to shut down their egos or shut down what they're used to. So no one's going to get to the root of why they want to sound like a child to their man.
And I don't want to kill this topic too much.
So weird.
Further. But another part of that too is that we could really take this topic way deeper, and I didn't think we were going to get this deep. But you could look at it as the male perspective too, of a lot of what people do end up looking for in their partners is the things that their parents did that made them comfortable.
Yeah.
So from the male, you're going to look to a woman that achieves the things that your mom did. And this is assuming you liked your parents.
Yeah.
Obviously, some people you might hate your parents and wish you had different parents.
Yeah.
But assuming you did, you're gonna look for those things just like, and a woman would look for the
Like her
fatherly
dad.
qualities that they like as well. So it's like a lot of what women like. They want a father. Like
Yeah.
because that's what the money thing is too. The first person that was the provider, and obviously there's a lot of single mothers out there that are the
Yeah.
providers, just like there's a lot of single fathers out there as well.
Yeah.
But we don't ever talk about them.
Yeah.
But the
But that's what I
people,
want.
but typically, if you look through common societal standards, the man is going to be the person typically that provides all of the money.
And that's why women always bring up, oh, my grandpa used to pay for my grandma's bills. And
Right.
Like they always bring up the father figures in their life, their grandpas, their dad. My dad did it.
So if you're looking for the man that pays for all your stuff, just like a father would, and is the protector, just like a father is, and they love you like a father would, and all of those different qualities that you like about your dad, if you're looking for that in another male partner, and you're using a baby voice and referring to him as
That's
daddy,
2 and 2. What's 2 and plus 2?
you're kind of trying to cosplay a child.
You are. But if you ask somebody who has
Can
no
you get this for
self-awareness,
me?
they'll be like, no, it's just I feel soft around my man. Your man doesn't make you feel soft? Yeah, my man makes me feel soft and feminine, but he doesn't make me feel like a child. There's a difference. I've talked like this to you 99% of the time. So,
Ugh, I'm getting creeped up by this conversation.
yeah.
Yeah,
This is weird.
I got nothing else to say.
No, but just to add one little thing. You know me, I always got to be on my... I always bring it back to this.
Oh, Jesus Christ, there's more.
No, it's like a slight little ending to the conversation. But, I always got, like, I've been on many conversations about this on my social media, on my YouTube channel, on this podcast. But, like, the whole 50-50 bills situation, right?
We're not doing this.
No, this is very brief. I just think it's funny how people try to say, like, on Twitter, that you've never been in love if you never have felt like that you're a bit childlike and babyish around acting like babies around your man, right? You were never in love if you didn't act like a baby around your man, right? But for some reason, when the conversation comes to money, you can't possibly be in love if you're burdening your man with bills. Isn't that funny though? Am I reaching here?
A little bit.
No, I'm just saying because like people, when this conversation comes to like my man got to do this, like the burden your husband with every single thing, like especially if you have, or like your boyfriend, right? Husband, different, right? Different conversation. But people burden their boyfriends. They think boyfriends and even dates, somebody who's not even your man yet, is supposed to pay for all the stuff. But if you were so in love in this society, in this economy, unless your man was doing so well, right? Like extraordinarily well, to try to like, I feel like that burdening of the man with the bills and everything, and giving him that burden, and then you don't even want to cook for him and clean for him. Could you rather hire a maid because he has so much money? How are you in love? Because if you're really in love, like that's why even with you be offering to buy me stuff all the time, I'm like nah. Like stop. Like even though you do got it like that, right? I still don't want to burden you with that because this economy is crazy. It's crazy out here, and I just want all your money that you work hard for going to me.
It's not crazy out here for me.
I know,
It
but
might be crazy for y'all. Be safe, and I'm
it's
praying
crazy.
for
No,
you.
but that's the thing. It's crazy for the average man out there. So you wouldn't be talking about all this stuff when most men are not making money like that, and they'll burden their like the Drewski skit we just saw. They'll be bums themselves, burdening their man or having expectations for their man to do all this.
Where did this come from? The woman's slant. This is the
because I just saw how
topic.
I just saw how funny it was that they said you're not in love if you don't talk like a baby to your man. But you could be in love with a man and burden him with all the bills in this economy. I just think this is funny. How what do you always say? The post moves, the goalpost moves in different conversations. So when it comes to baby voice, you had to be everything's so superficial. Because people's definition of love, they don't. I don't think a lot of people know what love is. So they feel like love is talking in a baby voice, but they don't think love is being a partner and working together. And if my man needs me to pull the weight this month because he's going through something, then I'm pulling. Because we're partners, we're a team, we love each other. We're not using each other for money. They think love is, Daddy, am I your baby? Did my man buy me a Birkin? He retired me. That's what they think love is. Money and calling man babies.
Don't ever do it again.
No, but that's what they think love is.
Yeah,
like,
but don't even imitate it.
Cause no, but people don't know what it is because they haven't seen it. They haven't seen it, and like you know they don't grow up in a household and see what love looks like in real time. They see movies, they see TV shows. I don't think most people know, especially in our community. No offense. So I'm not surprised by a lot of these conversations.
Full offense, do better.
No, full offense, and I'm not. That's why I'm not fazed by a lot of stuff that happens on the internet. I'm like, these people are just, they're hopeless, and I'm just happy in my situation, and I know what love is, and I feel like we truly have experienced that, and that's all.
Let the lost be lost.
Just weirdos. But don't blame you. You don't got parents together. And I don't got parents together anymore either. They just got divorced. But I did. And I seen it growing up. And I've seen what love looks like. So, and I feel it, what it feels like. But a lot of these people will never truly feel it. Like that TikTok I showed you, where they said that they don't think women really love authentically. They just love whoever's in that position at the time. I believe that. So. Like they kind of just like, you're a placement holder, so you're just that. Like they know what they kind of have this idea of love, and they just whoever's in that position at that time is just the person that's supposed to love them. So I'm not shocked by these conversations.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you lead this next one because I have no idea what this is talking about.
Yeah. Oh, you haven't seen all the debates on TikTok?
No.
I'm surprised you haven't seen it because it's been like a huge.
I mostly just watch sports, so I don't see a lot of what goes on.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate because one of my mutuals on TikTok, he was getting killed on Twitter. Killed because
you shouldn't be having any male mutuals anyway. But
I'm like 90% positive he is a homosexual. So there's that.
I don't care.
I think. Oh my God, what if he's not?
I don't
he sees
care.
this.
Unfollow every male on every platform.
Load. Okay. Anyways.
No, I'm not following the women. But anyway.
Don't piss me off. You know what's funny? Why am I even on this? I need to find I'm gonna try to find the tweets here. But oh, you know, I could just go to the girl's page. She's what's it called? She's the one who made the tweet. Or she made the TikTok that started kind of a lot of this.
You gotta have these things pulled up, gang.
I know. But as
at least, introduce the topic.
I typed in, okay. So basically what the topic is, you can see it based off a lot of the tweets. I think millennials have been having a discussion where they said that they feel like, that's why I think, you know, like the game Telephone, where somebody says something and then it gets mixed up and construed, or somebody takes full offense to like something and then they twist it and make it so much farther. I think what the conversation was is millennials said, it's not like they said they look younger than Gen Z. I think they were saying that they aging more gracefully than Gen Z. So I think they were saying that like, me at 30, I look good. I look like I'm 30. I look good at 30. But you at 21 look like you're 30 already, or you at 21 look like you're 26. Like a lot of them are aging faster. It's not like millennials are saying that they were aging.
And what are because that's the other thing, right? Because there's too many. Like, I hate when there's no definitive thing. Like, there shouldn't be an opinion on what's considered a specific generation. Like, that never made sense to me.
It does make sense, though, because it's based off what's going on in the time period.
No. Look, listen to what I'm saying.
Okay, man.
There shouldn't be an opinion on what a specific time period is considered. So if millennials is a thing, and that's a classification, there shouldn't be a debate or subjective on what time period that encompasses. Because the baby boomers, for example, that number shouldn't change. It was at the height of when births were at its highest, and that happened between these specific years. So if they're introducing a terminology to classify somebody, why is there a debate on what that classification is?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like, millennials should be this year, until this year. But there's too many differences, and it's like, well, you might be Gen X, Z, Y, Q, elemental P. Like, why is there no specificity on what it actually encompasses, what age group it encompasses? Because I don't know what I'm classified as.
Well, we're considered apparently as Zillennials, which is we're Zillennials. We're on the cusp.
See, bro, I don't even know
because we're technically we're Gen Z and we're Millennials. That's why this debate is actually funny, because we're literally in the middle of it. So that's why I actually just saw a meme of this person's like, they said that as a 97 baby, like they're just like, please, like, like Michael Jackson meme would put the gun down, because
But
we're in
why?
the middle,
But how are you in the middle if there should be defined lines on what?
because we're on like the border. Like there are defined lines. So I think technically, I think we are considered millennials, but we're the last of the millennials. We're 1996, so like I think millennials really start in like 1995 and above. I think we're literally the last, considered the very last of the millennials. But we're on the cusp. So you could say like we grew up with Gen Z. Like you know, you and your brother were close and he's Gen Z. Me and Maya are close and she's Gen Z. And me and Amira are close and she's Gen Z. So it's like we grew up with a lot of the older Gen Z. So it's like we're right on the line. Especially with us with later birthdays. We just missed
So
Gen Z by
so
like
who's
2 months.
so is, are millennials considered Gen Y? Where's
No,
Gen?
millennials are considered like any, like all of our people that we work with and at work who are in their 30s. That's millennials. Like they're like core millennials.
Then
Like,
who's Gen Y?
I don't think it's Generation Y is next. I think Generation Y is the people that are just born now. If I'm not mistaken. Or are they Gen X? No,
They're X.
no. Wait, let me see.
See, this is exactly this is like none of it makes
There's
sense.
baby boomers, which everybody knows was after the war. Then we're Gen X, which is our parents. Gen Y is the people like our cousins who are they're in their 30s now. 1980 to 1994. But yeah, but I think Gen Y and millennials are the same. And then Gen Z, because millennials was like the new age. So I think Gen Y and millennials are the same.
Wait, what is Generation Alpha, bro? I could have sworn
That's the new beats. That's the babies
I
born
could have
now.
sworn that people now were Generation X. I know that's
No, the
backwards.
Gen
but-
Z. Gen Z. Like
yeah,
you've
I
heard
know
Gen
it
Z.
goes backwards.
Yeah.
But Generation Alpha.
No,
is the same.
Generation X are our parents.
Whatever.
But Gen Y is the same thing as millennials. Yeah.
Go ahead. Everybody don't need to hear our breakdown.
But yeah. So this been this debate that millennials are just, you know, like I said, it got misconstrued, I think, to where now we're saying that millennials look younger than Gen Z. And I wouldn't be shocked if some millennials did say that they look younger. Like I wouldn't be surprised if that was like a thing, you know. But basically there's just this whole war going on TikTok, on Twitter, and there was this one girl, I'm trying to find it. I know I responded to her tweet, but she replied, oh yeah, here she is. She made this tweet or this TikTok that goes like this. She said, like, you know, millennials look younger than who? But like millennials are like replying like who look younger than Gen Z, and they're like you, or you know, we do, and some of them look a little hit, like responding like this is another person, and this is the person my mutual on TikTok. But and they're cooking him because they're like he looks. They're like, come on, like look. They're like, come on, you. So it's a little weird, right? And this girl was like the main facilitator of the beef. And you see this as 45K likes. So this has been like a trend lately. And it's just weird because it's like, first of all, why is there a competition?
Send the asteroid and destroy us all, please.
Like, and what I feel like is like we said this on so many conversations. It's sad to see because we're seeing it in our own age mates. I think what we're starting to see is millennials are aging. And with aging comes that realization that I'm no longer the cool, young, hip generation anymore. Like, everybody's always like, you know, even the younger kids now, or they're coming for Nikki, you're 40, you're old, but 40 is going to creep up on all of us real quick. Because look, we're almost 30, right? So look how quick our 20s went. 40 is right around the corner when you really think about it, right? So I think when you start to age, people now are comfortable in their age. Like, they want to be like, you know what? We still look good. We still, like, because it's just like this denial that you're aging. So every generation is just the repeated cycle. You hate to see it. This like competition with the youngins. Like, why do you care? Okay, yeah, maybe they are wearing wigs and doing makeup and a lot of stuff more advanced than we were because things just weren't there yet, right? Like makeup wasn't what it is now. Hair wasn't what it is now. So yeah, maybe they are doing more advanced things, but that's every generation. That's every generation, right? Mm-hmm. So yeah, maybe some of them are looking older because what they're doing to their hair, makeup, and skin. But who cares? It's not all of them. If you look at the average Gen Z, they look young. People take a handful of people that they see on the internet on TikTok that might got a little following and think that's they judging a whole generation. Like go to any, like I work right around the corner from a school. I be seeing them in the morning sometimes, like when I'm running late, I'm like, oh my God, move, because they're trying to cross the street. They look young. They look like their age. They don't look like Instagram models. Like you used to see a handful of people and you're judging a whole generation off of that. So I think the competition is very weird. And it's just funny because we're, like I said, we're on the cusp. We're 1996 baby, so it's not like we're on any side on the conversation. Because I think we look good for our age. I think we're 27. Like I want to say I look young. I think I look 27. And I still look young because I'm young. Like we're still young. Like 27 is young. So, but I want to jump out the window and be like, I look like I'm comparing myself to a 19-year-old because that's weird. Why do I even care what a 19-year-old got going on? And I feel like some of these millennials, like older millennials, are kind of corny. Like why are you in competition with kids? Like
Yeah,
and the Gen Z kids too. Like why some of them worry about it? Like I feel like the millennials are the one that says it first. But like why you worry about the older people? Like I don't get it.
This all ties back. There's so many different things that happen in society that I feel all tie back to the same kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think most people, and we need to acknowledge this. So, and there's not this sense of bias just because I perceive myself to be a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
Like I know that to be a fact, and what I determine to be a fact is basically the way other people feel about me. So I don't view myself as anything. I let other people determine that. Like you can't. It's almost like somebody that's selling a product. They can't determine what the market is demanding. It's always the consumer that demands that provides what the demand is. So I never look at myself. I can't define the market. I can't define who I am and how people perceive me. I can only do whatever it is that I'm doing and then let the responses from other people define who I am.
Mm-hmm.
So if everybody else feels like I'm a piece of shit, but I feel like I'm great, you kind of have to defer to what everybody else thinks.
Exactly.
So
yeah, especially when there's a lot of people.
So I think that I fall into a higher tier of individual.
Yeah.
And I think that one thing that people should recognize is that most people don't fall anywhere remotely close to the perception that they think they have.
And sorry not to cut you off, but we even said this off camera like a few months ago, like maybe a year ago at this point, about how like everybody thinks they're a 10.
No. I think
You're probably not. I think 10s are rare.
I don't think really anybody's a 10.
Yeah, because that's basically saying that you're perfect.
I think there are some for sure, but that's like small handful.
But it's like everybody can't be a 10. Like, come on.
Right. I think
some people are so delusional.
I think I'm in an upper tier based on certain characteristics. And if you look at statistically, if you want to do it from a mathematical perspective, I'm definitely in an upper tier, but I would never even say that I'm a 9 in anything.
Yeah.
Like,
but then you say that and people are like, oh, you love yourself. It's like, you can love yourself, but be realistic.
Yeah. I don't not love myself because I'm realistic.
Yeah.
Like
I don't love myself because I don't think I'm perfect, because I'm not.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not a 10.
I love myself to not be
delusional. No,
I was going to say a certain word, but because
loving yourself is truly recognizing flaws and all, who you are.
Yeah.
Loving yourself is not being delusional.
So I think a lot of people, basically what I'm trying to get at, y'all, is that there's a significant amount of people that aren't aware of where they fall into society, so they view themselves on a higher plane than they really are.
And sometimes their friends are to blame.
Most of the time.
Or the men that gas them up that know they're not that good looking. But a lot of times, it's your friends. Yeah, my friend's bad. But.
Well, you're talking about women. I'm talking about anybody.
No, yeah, anybody. Yeah, the women, men too.
People just don't view themselves in the way that society portrays them, because they say, and I don't know if this is to be a fact, that you always view yourself as being more attractive in the mirror than how other people perceive you. I don't know if that's true, but if we want to use that as a metaphor for people's perception in general, I think that's the case. I think that people don't have a real good gauge on who it is that they are, because that individual, both of the people you just showed me, I'm like,
and there's been so many too like that, like where they're stitching it and they're like, everybody just
you gotta be realistic with yourself. And I think that the people that are of a certain age, basically what I'm trying to get at is that if you're 34, I'm not beefing with kids that are 20 on the internet, on TikTok, on a platform that they run, basically, that we only really have because of them.
Yeah.
And then
literally
you're trying to say that you're more attractive. It's just a weird energy, right? Like, I'm not going to be 14 years older than you and then try to talk about your looks. Like, it's just weird. Like I was saying in the other, like earlier, I don't even really want to be having conversations with, I wouldn't even, when we're talking about age gaps in relationships, but beyond 4 years is crazy to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't even really want to be having conversations on the internet with people that are beyond a certain age. It's just weird. And I think that all of the older people that are trying to make this debate, like they've been losers their whole lives and they've been lied to about who they are.
Really are, yeah.
And it brings them this confidence to speak about certain stuff on the internet that they really shouldn't legitimately have. And trying to attack other people on the internet is their crowning achievement, because that's all they have. They never really did the things that they wanted to do in life at this point. They thought their life would be a lot different. Typically, you see people thought that they would be more in a relationship by now, have a house,
Married,
and
yeah.
have the job and the money and all that other stuff, but that those things never came. So there's nothing else really for those type of people except to grab social media, because that's the only real attention that they can get. And then even then, they really don't have anything going for them. So the types of stuff that they can say about people on social media or can say about themselves, it's not really a long list of anything at all. So it's really just the losers that never really got to where they wanted to be in life, and they're starting to get older and they're getting more miserable. So they're fighting with kids on the internet about who looks better.
That's a really good point.
So
Yeah.
because you don't see me doing that.
Yeah.
like
when people who are not miserable with their lives aren't focused on that, like that's all they got is their voice on the internet. That's all they got.
You don't got nothing. Like you don't
Literally.
see like, and it's just
It's so weird, and it screams insecurity.
because I never peaked.
Cause my whole thing is, we could
high
have
school.
we could have the conversation, I guess, about like younger kids seem like like people said they feel like the tween stage has completely, like the preteen middle, the tween stage has completely gone. So yeah, like kids 13, 14-year-olds nowadays aren't necessarily, there's no Justices anymore. There's no Claire's. Like they're not shopping at those places. Like they're jumping from being a kid to jumping straight to Sephora,
And I would say that's
Fashion Nova. But who cares? Every generation, like, yeah, that stage is dying out, right? And this probably is a big shift that we're seeing that we might have never seen before. Fine, you could talk about it, but then why are we starting to compare ourselves? Like, oh, when I was that age, well, who cares what you were at that age? Like, if you want to talk about them now and maybe how you're worried, concerned, fine. But then we start comparing yourself. That's when it gets weird. Because why are you comparing yourself?
And just because you see a couple of people that have done it, a couple of kids that have done it.
Yeah,
I think you might have brought this point
doesn't mean
up
everybody's doing it.
Yeah.
There's probably still kids who are 13, 14 that still shop at Claire's.
Right, Claire still exists for a reason.
Yeah.
And it ain't because y'all 34-year-olds are shopping.
Yeah, like Claire's are still in pretty much every mall we go to.
So it's just a lot of weird shit. Like you peaked in high school, you never really got what you wanted out of life.
Or they looked bad in high school and they're like, dang, like they're almost jealous now that they don't look as good as some of these kids look like in high school.
That sentence was about to say it sound crazy, but they look more put together. Like a lot of the reasons too, like when we were in high school, we did a lot of things that are unflattering to our silhouettes and our bodies. So
and things just weren't as advanced back then. Like haircuts weren't what they are now.
Yeah, there weren't as many styles.
Yeah, women's we had someone's,
but they still had like fades and all that kind of stuff. People always still had dreads. The edge ups still.
But
existed.
if you were in high school now, you would for sure like be popping.
Listen, I might have had grills in high school.
Yeah,
like I would have really been out here.
But we recognize that. But we're secure in ourselves that we still we don't first of all we don't care, and we still love who we were at that time. Like I still love how it looked. Yeah, it looked a mess to me now, but I still appreciate the era that we had. I don't want to go back. I don't wish to go back. I don't wish to look at how these kids look now. I looked how I did at the time, and it worked for the time period. People thought it looked good. Some people didn't. But it worked in the time period. Like people was gassing us up at that age when we were 17, 18 in college. We look back and be like, oh, but at the time it worked. And that's all that matters. Like I don't care to go back. And because now wigs are more advanced and makeup's more advanced, like, no. I'm secure in myself now, and I'm still young. I still get to enjoy these things. But I actually have more money now, and I actually could buy them. I don't have to beg my parents for or work 2 weeks at ShopRite to afford one shirt. Like,
yeah,
Yeah,
so the whole debate in itself is weird, but we did things back then that were unflattering. We wore a lot of really baggy clothes, and if anybody knows common sense with clothes, if you're wearing baggy clothes, and hopefully this doesn't sound fat phobic or whatever, height phobic, whatever the different things are. But there's a reason why they use slim, tall models in fashion, because it's just the way the clothes drape on that type of silhouette just looks the best. But we wore baggy clothes, and they wear baggy clothes in high fashion too. But like the way that we did our baggy clothes is way different than high fashion. So us wearing a big giant XXL Cookie Monster shirt and like big baggy jeans and all that kind of stuff, like it just doesn't, like, it could still look cool, right? Like, we don't take anything away from like Aaliyah, for example, who wore a lot of that tomboyish sort of style,
Yeah.
but the silhouettes don't fit the same way. Like
That was more so middle school though, right? Not really. I don't know. For me, it was tight clothes was the thing. Skinny
yeah,
jeans.
we went through a cycle. Skinny jeans was like 2009, but
Yeah, but you talking about like before that, like elementary school, early middle school days. Yeah.
yeah, just like the whole cycle of like our style was like,
Yeah.
there was just a lot of stuff we were doing, like the like New Boys era and all
Yeah,
that
yeah,
kind of
yeah, yeah.
stuff.
I
Like
forgot. Yeah, yeah. And
we
everybody
did,
wearing the what are those shoes? The DC sneakers and the baggy
yeah,
jeans. Yeah.
we went through just a lot of stuff. Like,
Yeah.
so we didn't even dress in the way that fit our style. But I was actually really, what I was talking about was like people that were in high school, like in the 2000s, like the early 2000s and
Yeah.
stuff like
Like the
that.
people who are millennials, the real
Yeah,
millennials.
yeah, the
Yeah.
real millennials, like the rock star, spiked hair,
Yeah.
frosted tips kind of thing. Like, they wore really big shirts and
Yeah.
big
And
pants,
baggy jeans.
so it
Yeah.
just made them look like they were 45, but they were really like
Yeah.
17.
So they feel like
So
maybe they didn't embrace their bodies that they had back then. So now they're hating because they might look a mess now. But they
yeah,
felt like, dang, I looked hot back then and I was wearing baggy clothes.
right. Because back then, like, we just dressed a certain way. We didn't
Mm-hmm.
dress to our strengths. We just dressed to dress
Yeah.
trendy,
Yeah.
whatever was trending. But now there's gonna be a lot more body cons type stuff, where like
Yeah.
people's facial hair is gonna be cut a certain way, which is
Yeah.
gonna make them look better, and the hair is gonna be faded a certain way. It's just that people back then at that time, and even a little bit in our era, we didn't really embrace a lot of
Yeah.
the
Embrace our youth
things.
almost.
Like, even the long hair for men, like long hair, men have always had long hair, but the way that men are embracing it nowadays is like, now there's an embracing
Yeah.
of your natural features.
But a lot of older men don't even have that hair anymore. So
Yeah.
they can't even do that now.
Because because long hair, you would think, makes you look more mature,
Mm-hmm.
but long hair actually makes you more youthful, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
more youthful.
When I've had my hair short, I look way older.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I could have short hair and a beard, and I just look like a 45-year-old man.
That's the same
Because
for women too. Like Bob's with short
yeah,
hair style seems more like, remember we used to be like in school like, oh, short hair, more mature. We're trying, we used to act like you were so mature when you came back
Yeah.
to school with the short sewing.
the long hair looks more childish. So like
Mm-hmm.
nowadays, the millennials, they got the long. Even if you have long like locks or braids, cornrows, whatever it is that you're doing, the hair is longer, and you just look more childlike.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So it's definitely a lot. It's definitely a lot of hating.
definitely
at its
hating.
core.
It's literally just hating at
It's
its core.
jealousy, yeah, and it's just that like you see it every cycle. Like the Gen Z kids now, they're gonna go through the same thing in 10 years, 15 years, coming for Gen Alpha. Like it's just a cycle.
Yeah, we should bring
Every generation is gonna just be haters every time because they're not young. Like I already see it happen with Gen Z because they're looking at pictures of like Chicago, Dream, True, and Stormy. Like like the youngest of like the Kardashian Jenners. And they're like, oh my God, they're gonna be the it girls, and we're all gonna be 40. Like I'm like, you're already looking at like they're already impending. They're aging. I'm like, this is
Yeah.
sad. Like they're about to be the new it girls, and we're all gonna be 40. Like it's gonna be so crazy. Like I'm like, relax, live in the moment now. Like why are you already impending,
right.
being old? Like it's just weird.
And you were never the it girl now, so
Yeah.
they are. It's like you never were.
Yeah.
You were random. You were never anything.
Yeah.
So
So the obsession with youth is just a crazy thing.
because I believe in age shaming, but only in certain contexts.
Yeah.
I believe in age shaming.
And you can age shame without comparing yourself. You don't even have to compare.
I only believe in age shaming when we're trying to use it as a means for how somebody should behave.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Nikki gets a lot of that. You're 40, but I mean,
Because realistically, after living her life that long, you should just want peace.
there's certain.
Like
Let's not
even
talk
now,
about her.
I'm saying
but-
even now in our late 20s, don't you just hate chaos? Like maybe when you was like when we were younger, we kind of like the idea of drama with our friends, like gossip, right? Like you kind of like the drama a little bit. But don't you feel like at this point in your life, you just want peace? And people who are just chaotic or like drama, you just kind of like are annoyed by it because like at this point in your life, you just want calm and peaceful like life. So at 40, you should want that, and I think that's why people are so like, Nikki, you're 40, because it's like you are. Like you see, Beyonce don't even be talking. She's living. She's rich. She won. Nikki, you won. Like you are who you are. You don't need to fight with everybody.
We'll talk about that
Yeah.
later. But yeah, so age shaming I agree with, but only when we're using it as like a means for corrective behavior. You shouldn't be 40 and doing certain stuff, including certain TikTok.
And you shouldn't be too young doing certain stuff.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, it's just.
But the comparing is just the weird
millennials hating.
Yeah, millennials are definitely hating. And some Gen Z, I feel like some Gen Z need to chill out too, like coming like age shaming a little bit, because it's like you're gonna age, and aging is a beautiful thing. Like, so on both sides is weird. That's why I feel like I said, being in the 1996 in the middle, I'm just looking at both sides. Like, you guys are both kind of weird. Millennials started it, so you're more weird, but you guys are both kind of weird, because the age shaming from the Gen Z is kind of weird too, because like
Everybody they look up to.
we all age, and yeah, and everybody look up to. Like, everybody loves Cardi. He's 20. He's our age. He's 28, 27. Travis, like all the young people at his shows, rage. Travis is in his 30s, so everybody that you will look up to and want to be like are in their late 20s, 30s already. So it's kind of, it was weird to shame,
Yeah.
especially because you're going to age, God willing. Like, it should be a goal to get to your 30s. Who doesn't want to live a long, fulfilling life?
Yeah.
So it's a blessing to age. So let's just stop the war. Like, if we wanted to edit this and put the Michael Jackson meme, please put the guns down. Like, but I'm just happy to be in the cusp, because I just feel like I don't feel offended by any side of the argument, because I'm right in the middle. So
I don't feel offended by any argument ever.
Yeah.
Because I'm me.
And first of all, I know I look good for my age, so
I'm not a millennial. I'm Alex.
yeah. I look good for my age, and I actually feel like I could jump out the window and say that I look better than some younger people, because my advantage is just
Here
my
we
body.
go.
No, I'm saying my advantage.
Sounding like
I know, but I'm saying my advantage for me is
I'm
my
saving
body.
you.
And I'm saying my advantage for me is my body, because a lot of people be looking a mess, and I feel like my body has been. I weigh the same since I've been in high school.
Are you weight shaming?
I'm not weight shaming. I'm saying I've been the same weight since I've been in high school. So that's not even me saying. That's not even me being delusional. I've literally been 125 pounds since I've been in high school. Like, I've been the same weight. And some people look crazy, like they're shaped really bad. So I think I win in that. And I don't have kids yet, so my body's still.
Okay, hitting millennial. Anyway, let's move
I'm not
on.
a millennial. I'm Gen Z. 1996, September 1996.
Anyway.
Look, that thing that we just looked at said 1994 was the cutoff date.
Anyway,
So are we not Gen Z? So I'm comparing myself to my other fellow Gen Zers. Hey, y'all.
Let's move on.
But I be making a whole statement, and then I become a hypocrite.
Yeah, you make the statement and then you retract everything that you just said for like the past.
But see, at least I'm real. I can admit that. It's a little hypocritical.
Just stop talking.
Okay.
Just stop.
It's
turn it off.
champagne.
Just stop. Yeah, I know. You just chatting.
It's true though.
This one was a little bit interesting because this has been. Maybe it's not a known fact. I think it's not a known fact because people lack like a lot of common sense and can't really put two and two together. But basically, De'Ara was trending on Twitter for people actually realizing that she stole her ex makeup artist and friend stud girlfriend. I don't know.
Crazy title.
Yeah, I don't know if stud is appropriate or not. Is that like the word?
They studs call themselves studs, so it's
well,
appropriate.
I don't.
No, but like literally, like I've never seen no one say that stud's offensive.
Yeah, if it's
not.
If
I don't
offensive,
think it is.
I don't know.
I'm 99% sure it's not offensive.
Just throwing it out there. I don't know how people classify themselves, but
yeah, she considers herself a stud. A stud is like a more masculine inclined woman that still considers herself a woman, but like they dress like they be hanging out with their homeboys. Like, what's her name? Young M.A. would be considered a stud.
I know what she's considered. I'm
saying the classification is not offensive. Okay. I'm just clearing it up. It's not.
Okay. Yeah. So take it away.
Oh, I thought you was about to.
No, I just said
you was about to go in.
Nah, I was just introducing the thing. She basically was trending because she.
Yeah, you don't really know the backstory as much as I do.
I know the backstory.
No, but you might not know as much as I do.
You made me watch it, unfortunately, but yeah.
I made you watch what? The YouTube video?
We used to watch all her videos in here.
Months ago?
Remember before she even like exposed who this person was, and she would just post videos and pictures with just like the random tattoos and stuff.
Yeah, but you didn't see the ex makeup artist's girlfriend's video that she made like a year ago.
Okay.
Yeah, like you. That's why I say I can give more context to that. Like, you didn't see that, right? I didn't show you. Did I show you that? I don't think I did, right?
If you did, I don't remember.
Yeah, I mean, it might have been on the TV. Again, you were just sitting here probably not paying attention, but it was like a while ago. But basically, as the world all knows, possibly the world, because remember we talked about this last week, how De'Ara and Ken, like when we were talking about the Ace family, how we said De'Ara and Ken were like probably the most popular black couple on YouTube. They kind of set off that whole travel couple thing. Like, they definitely had a huge part in that whole vacation black travel stuff. Like, for sure, I think we could all agree on that. To this day, that lasting impact of those cute couple pictures definitely is from them, for sure, right, in the black community. Mm-hmm. So I'll give them that credit. But they were together for just as long as we were. They literally started dating like around the same time, which is crazy. And I would make jokes. I'm like, dang, if we would start our YouTube the same time they did, who knows, right? But we were in college and didn't have as much maybe freedom that they had. But you know, they were together for a long time, built this empire, and then were engaged. COVID happened, so their wedding and stuff got delayed. But then I guess, you know, within COVID and all that time period, Ken was doing some sus stuff. I'm not sure if that's the reason why, or not that the engagement ended up ending, but they, you know, ended their relationship, ended their channel, and Dara started her own channel, and that's all we knew her as, was her being with this man, right? But if we find out at the beginning of their relationship, it actually started from, funny enough, there's a lot of receipts on this, that she actually stole, because I don't think you could steal a man from anybody, right? But Ken was in a relationship but was messing with a girl, and she kind of came in and took him from her. So there's a pattern here, right? Like we kind of see, okay, this is maybe who she is, right? Like, so their relationship ends, and De'Ara kind of gives maybe one of those people who, like, she likes to flex. Oh, a single era. I'm in my single era. I love being single, but you're booed up. Like, I hate when people try to act like they're single just because it's maybe not an official title on it, but you're booed up with somebody. Like, you don't love being single because you need that male validation. You need that, or woman validation, whoever, you know, you need that partner validation. I think De'Ara's that type of woman, in my opinion. Like, because I don't think there really was much, even a break between Ken and this new person that she's with. And I just feel like she's just like, you know, that's all she knew, right? Because she was in a relationship that whole time. And I feel like she just needed that energy, that romantic energy. And it's okay to admit that. I hate when people just don't admit it. Like, don't try to act like you love this single life because it sounds cool, right? Because the whole city girl, single me, like, everybody likes to sound Miss Independent, you know? It's okay to admit that maybe you're a hopeless romantic, you like romance. It's okay. So let's start with that. But so she immediately got into this situation. And I hate when people try to, like, be slick, right? But then they want to be private. She was throwing hints always in her vlogs. It's like you see a hand, you know, you see flowers, you see, like, you know, subtle stuff. And like, this is annoying because, like, you trying to be private so bad. But if you were so private, you would edit that stuff out. We wouldn't even know. But you want to show it off. Like, I hate when people just, this whole privacy thing, like covering the face, you want to show it off. You don't have to show nothing at all. You want to be private. You don't want people in your business, but you don't have to show nothing at all. You don't have to show the flowers, the gifts. You don't have to make tweets. So you want people in your business because you tweet about it. You want the attention. So that's, you know, the whole nother point. That annoys me. But, you know, we were seeing subtle hints of who this new person is in her life. And people trying to figure out who it is. And then lo and behold, this woman comes out with this whole expose, you know, exposing De'Ara, saying that she's a snake, that they were friends, and that she's now dating her ex. So that was like a whole big explosive, like bomb that dropped, right? So then we, you know, people dig deeper, and then she gives receipts, but like we found out, like, this girl was in a whole lot of vlogs and videos. They traveled together, and she always talked about her makeup artist. Like, my makeup artist, I love her. Like, they were friends. I would say they were friends. If you traveling with somebody and doing stuff like that, like, yeah, like Jessie, a makeup artist, so she might be traveling with you to do your makeup, and that's what De'Ara tried to just reduce her to after the fact. It kind of reminded me of like the Lala Ruby Rose situation, where Lala was like a weirdo who messed with every single guy that Ruby messed with, little TJ, Cardi, right? And she tried to reduce their friendship, which is for clout, and that was just for an image. After all was said and done, but it's like, no, you know, you was a snake, and now you're trying to, like, downplay what the friendship was, what it was, because, like, realistically, you don't need to travel with stuff with your makeup artist and stuff like that. Like, do your own makeup. Like, she's good at doing her own makeup, so there had to have been some type of friendship there, you know. So don't try to downplay it now because you were exposed. But so yeah, they were cool. Like, she was hanging out with all three of them. Like, it was De'Ara hanging out with the makeup artist and the girlfriend. Like, they were all friends in the same group, right? Weird. Like, oh, this episode, you know, makes me mad. Like, you know.
You want to expound on why those things make you mad?
I don't need to.
You don't need to? I think you should. I think you should break down these things.
No, I just feel like it's weird to hang out with people or pretend to be friends with somebody when you want their man or their partner.
Does that hit home for you?
It does hit home for me. You know how it hits.
I don't. Why don't you?
I'm under champagne, so I'm not. You know.
Oh yeah, give it to me.
I'm not gonna go crazy, but you know,
start chatting.
Like, it does hit home for me because it is like no, but I'm just saying women are weird. Like, I just don't like that. Like, don't play in my face and pretend you're my friend.
I'm sorry, yo.
With ulterior motives. Like, it's weird. Like, it's just, first of all, it's nasty to me anyway because it's like, if I'm your friend, like, why do you even want, like, a sloppy seconds? But
give me the glass.
No. But it's like, you know how it's just weird. Like, I feel like we said, women I think are evil. Like, really, genuinely evil people. And like I said, I say that because I'm a woman. I say that because I've dealt with women. Like, I think we're sometimes in some ways worse than men. I feel like men are more violent and evil in the sense of like murders and assaults, but I think women are very calculative, evil, manipulative weirdos. A lot of them. And yeah, I just think it's weird to like play in somebody's face because Diara might have liked this person, right? Or was like falling for this person while you were hanging out with them. And like that's weird. If you know you're feeling for somebody, maybe remove yourself from the situation or tell the friend. Like it's just weird to me. There's so many people in this world, and you want your friend's partner. Like it's just weird to me. And then to pretend to still be friends and still be cool with the person is just like ugh. So it's just weirdo stuff, and I just feel like Diara is very weird for this. Like like I said, the makeup artist came out with a whole like exposing thing, and went on an exposing tour, and a lot of people kind of like didn't really say much because it's almost like we're gonna get into Nicki later, but it's almost like when you have a fan base, people ride for you no matter what you do, and people know deep down what she did was wrong, but they're always gonna be like, she just jealous, she just hating because it's Diara's that girl, she's that B, so they're gonna always ride for her even though what she did was dead wrong. So a lot of it was kind of pushed under the rug. But lately, for some reason, I don't know why, I think maybe Diara's been posting a little bit more about this stud girlfriend that she's with. And people are now really like realizing how much of a weirdo she is. And like, so that's why I said it was literally trending, like 7,000 posts about it. And like, it was the number one higher after the screenshot. So, because everybody's seen pictures of like who his stud looks like. And they're like, ew, all that. They're like, all that for this. And they're like, and then people are like, we seen Ken though. So are we shocked? Like, they dragging. And I was like, ooh, ooh. Ooh.
I thought they liked Ken. People don't think he's attractive.
I don't think a lot of people actually really thought he was attractive. I never did. I was just like, he's kind of like a quirky, weird looking guy.
Jesus Christ.
But
okay.
to each their own, Beauty's in the eye of the beholder.
Yeah.
It is.
Bro, that's crazy.
If she likes it, I love it.
That's 3 crazy phrases to describe how somebody looks.
It's not like he's ugly, but he's just not my cup of tea.
All right,
and neither is the stud. I mean, I'm not attracted to women, but they're dragging the stud.
You're not?
I'm not. You think I'm attracted to women? Since when have I ever shown I'm attracted to women? And don't try to talk about little incidents at like the strip club. Like that's just fun vibes. Like I'm not attracted to a woman. Like really looking at me like that for? I'm not. Don't look at me. Like anyway. So yeah, she was just trending lately because people were like posting up like are we going to forget how much of a weirdo she was for that, And I just feel like people let it like a lot slide because I feel like that people they let a lot of BS slide when it comes to celebrities or influencers because they like them. And I just feel like that's very toxic, like because like if Diara was your friend and did that to you, you would hate her, you want to fight her, but because she did it to another woman. Everybody's girls, right? But they have no sympathy for this woman. Real quick, so my whole thing is like I get the whole. At the end of the day, your partner owes you that loyalty and respect. At the end of the day, that's not up for debate. But when someone's your friend too, they're just likely to catch that smoke. Because you put me my friend, you owe me that loyalty too. And you put me my friend, you plotting on me, and you plotting on my boyfriend or girlfriend, like you are a op, and you deserve to be like just as liable. You, like I said, that double betrayal stuff is like crazy. You deserve to catch all the smoke too. No, but I'm saying like people always like to cape for or protect the woman who's messing with a married man, right? Or just people love to do that, but it's like they're just as liable to catch smoke if they knew that person was in a relationship or if they're friends with the person, Mm-hmm. And to date somebody and potentially have caused the breakup, maybe of these two, right? Or even if you didn't, to still date somebody who's your friend's ex is weird. Because we was all hanging out, and that means you might have been messing around with this person behind my back while we were all friends. Like something had to have been going on where you were catching feelings for this person while we were all friends, and that makes my skin crawl. Like like the girl is probably from her perspective, that probably makes her skin crawl. Like, oh, we were traveling together, and you probably had little moments with my girlfriend at the time. For you to fall in love, or both of them are wrong, but Diara's wrong too. Like that was your friend, and you a snake. And like I said, apparently she stole Ken, so that's just who she is. Like at this point is a character, is a characteristic. And I don't care. Like, yeah, she's cool. I love her content. Like, she's very creative. She's very like a boss. Like, but that doesn't mean she's not also a weirdo. Two things can be true. She's a weirdo. And there's nothing, there's no excuse in this at all. It's disgusting. And I'm not saying that because I'm biased.
Tell us how you really feel.
No, I'm not saying this because I'm biased. It's just like, obviously I have my own bias.
Come on, talk to me.
I don't need to talk to you. I've talked to you now about this.
Talk to me. How you feeling right now? Give me the glass.
No.
Give me the glass. Give me the glass. Oh, all right, y'all. We're going to wrap up this podcast.
No, but for real, like, from your perspective, like, it's wild, right? Because, like, I don't know if men do this. Well, men definitely do this snake stuff.
Do men do this?
No, you know what? Men definitely do the snake stuff to their friends too, for sure.
1,000%.
For sure.
1,000%.
But I don't know. Do they jump out the gun and date an ex-girlfriend of a guy? They might try to sneak around, do some stuff on the behind the scenes. But do they jump out the window to be bold enough to date the person?
Not in the black community. In the white community, we've seen this.
For sure. Like, they all be like, I always said that with Savannah Montana, and I think she's Hispanic. But when her and Jared were like really popular back in our teen days, that whole friend group that she was a part of all dated each other, and I thought that was very weird to me. But it seems really common. Yeah,
I'm not gonna say it doesn't happen in the black community, but I have not seen it as much as in other communities, because I think when you do that, and this is aside from celebrities, because that's a whole entertainment world is
different
as hell. That's some devilish shit they be doing over there. But in regular communities, I don't really see it, because I feel like in those scenarios it opens you up to really having something bad happen to you.
Yeah, I think there's more fear there.
Yeah.
Because I think women don't necessarily have that fear within each other because there's not that underlying violence. But I think men definitely know what men are capable of, and men have more, I think, anger.
Yeah.
That they're liable to really kill over stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of times those lines don't necessarily get drawn as much.
Yeah, so physical
for sure.
For sure.
Definitely.
What do you call it? The default.
It's like something, it's like a term for when you're like dirty macking. That dirty macking stuff.
Dirty mac is the craziest.
No, it's not the right correct.
No, it is. Yeah. Like, that's like the craziest thing.
For sure. I think everybody has experienced it where a friend.
Oh, don't let him treat you that way.
Yeah, has tried to come or just try to hit you up and like on some, weird thing. Every woman definitely had that experience.
For sure.
And I just feel like it's weird. It's weird on both sides, because I've never ever in my life. Well, first of all, no offense, but nobody who I've been friends with realistically has somebody that was so attractive to me that I felt any attraction towards their partners. But even if I did, like, it's just weird, that morality, because it's like, even if that, like, first of all, you don't even have to be my friend. I just would never, like, that's just a weirdo position to put yourself in, to even try to pursue somebody who has a partner. You don't even have to be my friend. That's just respect for cause I love myself and I respect myself. So I would never do that just for that sense. But it's just, I can't get it. Like, it's just weird. There's so many attractive people out there, and like, for me, it's just disgusting, actually, to me.
You ever have men try to dirty mac on me, to you?
What do you mean?
They try to dirty mac.
Like, talk about you?
Mm-hmm.
Not that I can remember. Like, nobody necessarily said anything negative about you, no. But like, we've talked about this before. We have had a situation in school where a friend of yours, I was upset about a situation that we were in, and I was telling him, I was like, oh, he did this, blah, 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 blah. And he was like, what you going to do about it? Like, us, try to get revenge, I guess, on the situation that we were fighting about. I was like, what do you mean, what am I going to do about it? Like, the way he said it was very, like, trying to insinuate, like, so you trying to get back at him or something? And, like, that was so weird to me, because I was like, aren't you his friend? Like, you asking me what's wrong because you see me, I'm upset and we're fighting in a party. I'm just telling you what's wrong. I'm not trying to do nothing. But now you're trying to take that as like a.
You know what's funny about that too?
It's like, ugh.
Side note, because I'm not even going to talk about it. The funny thing about that too is he probably doesn't know that.
He probably doesn't know that, yeah. Well, first of all, he probably doesn't remember. We all were drunk, right? But second of all, I don't think a lot of people realize that a lot of stuff that they say doesn't slide when you're in a relationship where the people actually like each other and are vulnerable and talk about everything. So yeah, I told him. Just like people have said stuff to you that they were mad at you. They were mad at you that you told me. But what you think? What you thought? Like,
yeah, I be snitching. I'm not gonna lie. Don't say nothing to me.
Don't say nothing. Don't do nothing because he's gonna tell me.
I'm definitely.
And vice versa. Like, what you think? Like, we're not in no shallow ass relationship. Like, this is real. Like, so nothing anybody has ever said or done, if anybody's watching, has slid. Just to let you know, nothing.
Give me
I
the,
know everything.
give me the glass. Give me the glass. You had enough champagne. Give it to me.
No, you don't know any of these people out here could thinking they still have a one up on me or something like.
Oh yeah, no, definitely not.
No,
I'll be
I know
snitching.
everything. Yeah.
And you be going through phones and shit. So
No, yeah, but see how you try to like act like I found that information we're gonna do phones. No, you tell me. So
both,
both, yeah, both
both of them.
to get a little bit more like details, but that's just me trying to get details and stuff. But and this is all past stuff, just to let everybody know. Like none of this is prior to like 2018. Like trust and believe.
I don't
like,
get any.
This relationship has been perfect since, but
I don't really. I'm bad at details. I'm usually good at summaries because anytime you ask me a story about something,
yeah,
like I could tell you the overall summary, but I don't really pay attention to a lot of details sometimes. But
yeah,
yeah,
with that situation, yeah, like I'm sure he doesn't know that you know, but I think I actually didn't tell you that long after that happened.
You did. You told me pretty immediately.
Yeah,
but
it was like, but nobody's ever tried to do the whole oh. Your man's back. Cause I don't think they knew they couldn't say that. They know you're not. Like the thing is, if somebody definitely dating a man that they know that they're like, if a guy is pursuing a woman that's taken and they know they're for sure 100% better than the man that she's with, then they definitely do that. But nobody ever had to fix their face to do that because they knew they would look stupid and sound stupid. Because then they can't. Now you're lying.
Somebody did do it.
Who?
And we get, if you remind me, I'll tell you about it. But that's
they tried.
That's a whole. I don't even want to give any details. If you remember and remind me after this, then I'll tell you. But somebody.
Why can't you say it?
Because it would be too specific. It would be way too specific.
Yeah, but if any of these people are even watching this stuff, they're kind of weird anyway. Because like, why are you even keeping up with people?
Mostly because I would probably do some sort of physical harm to this individual if I saw them today. So I don't even want to talk about it. But if you remind me, I'll tell you off the camera. But
interesting. But yeah, I don't remember anything specific. Somebody like, oh, that man's bomb. He's a whack. Cause you know he's not. Like you would sound stupid saying that to me, and I think they knew that. So not from what I remember, there was no dirty macking, but it was definitely trying to get me.
Yeah.
And knowing you or being friends with you.
Yeah.
So people are just weird out there.
From my perspective on this specific thing,
anybody who wants sloppy seconds has no self-respect. And I would die on that hill.
From my perspective, because we talk about this sometimes, I unfortunately am back before my more zen matureness. Super crash out dummy, like super crash dummy, like really crash test dummy.
I never actually was a crash out girl, and I wish I was.
Nah,
but nah, cause you regret it.
You've been a part of some of those experiences, like crash test dummy. I shouldn't be, trying to pull up on, anyway, crash test dummy for the things I care about. Now, back then I would be a crash test dummy for anything. Like I was really just very heightened. Like my emotions were very much out of control. And so they were always heightened. Mm-hmm. So even for like the most minor thing, I wouldn't say I had like a temper tantrums or was like bipolar or anything like that, but it was definitely like I was just turned like I thought it was so cool, so fly, like everything was just turned up to the max. So my reactions to things, my emotions were always just doing the most. So back then, super crash test dummy. Like some of those situations, like we don't even need to get into it. Nowadays there's some of those things that are still gonna be that way. Like I'm gonna be crash test dummy over you. Like that's unfortunate. I'm not gonna turn that off. I'm gonna be a crash test dummy over my family. There's certain things where we're just not gonna engage in this type of behavior.
Yeah, so, you're not gonna let stuff slide.
Like, and you've unfortunately been a part of some of those things too. Like if somebody says or does something, then I'm gonna probably start legitimately tweaking, and then everybody's gonna be afraid because it's just not. I don't look very human in those moments. But this would be one of those things. So when I'm talking about crash test dummy, if I feel like there's a certain, if there's a certain amount of disrespect that I'm feeling and it's coming from somebody that I was romantically involved with and then somebody that I was also a friend with, I don't know if there's like a scale or ruler or just measurement that we have currently scientifically that could measure the amount that I would crash out in these sort of situations. Because I'll probably legitimately start tweaking.
No, for real.
And this is just one of those things
that's why in my situations, like
unacceptable.
Literally,
you probably should be in jail.
No, a lot of people are real lucky. That's all I gotta say.
You would probably be in
A
jail.
lot of people are real lucky because like I feel like I'm a lot more calmer than most people would react to a lot of stuff I had to deal with friends.
I think if you reacted in the way that people generally would react, I actually don't put it past you having sat in jail at some point.
I don't know if I would have been in jail,
I think
but
so.
I feel like a lot of feelings would have been hurt because I'm more of a words person. I think some of the stuff I would have said would have stung for life, and possibly you don't. Who knows, right? People black out. Hands might have been thrown, but I just thank God that none of that happened. But it's just yeah, like that's a whole different level of like craziness to deal with, you know. So definitely crash out territory. It's definitely crash out territory.
Yeah, we should talk about that off camera.
Why?
I feel like I never really gave my opinions on a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
Not tonight. And at some other point
Yeah.
in the future, we should talk about
Yeah.
a lot of, because we of course got your perspectives on those things, and like we got my explanations on some stuff,
Yeah.
my perspectives on things. But some of that stuff that you went through,
With
I never really gave my thoughts on it so much in the way that I
I
probably
feel I'm a
feel
lot
like
more
I should
calmer
have.
in life than I should be, but it's crazy. It's so crazy.
Because obviously we talked about them, but it's more so like what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say without saying it. I think I more so said what those things, like the way that you should have handled certain, like I'm trying to just not be so specific.
Yeah.
Like I just feel like I never really
Like talked about how maybe those things should have been handled, or
nah. What am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that I never really, I guess maybe more so acknowledged some of
like the
like to the
extent of it.
yeah
Yeah, of what actually like what are how like impactful.
what actually
Yeah.
But that's for we could talk about that
But you know what
at
keeps
another
me
time.
like sane? I just feel like in life, like first of all, like that was so long ago, right? We're getting to like 7, 8 years, right? About when a lot of stuff happened. 9 years, 10. We're getting to 10 years for one of the initial situations, right? So it's like this stuff happened so long ago, but also I just feel like first of all, I don't keep tabs on a lot of these people, but I just know who I am as a person. That if anybody were ever to like who did those things to me were to like check in with me, like I feel like I won. Like I'm in the best situation. Like I feel like I'm in such an ideal situation that anybody would want to be in. Good career, good relationship. I look good in the face, in the body. Like there's nothing you could say really negatively about me. I just feel like I win because my life is just a testament to what it looks like to be a good person. And me not crashing out could be a good thing. Because I have a clear conscience. You did that dirty, nasty, weird stuff to somebody. So then you gotta live with that. I don't. And that's all that keeps me going. That me being a good person is just reflecting on my life. And yeah.
Shout out to you for being
Same.
a good person. Not for being sane. You better than me.
I'm better than a lot of people.
I might have been in the New Jersey State Penitentiary.
Ooh, and I was about to say something crazy. I was about to say my dad had weapons in his
Yeah,
house.
all
If I
right,
really,
y'all. Give me the glass.
I'm saying if I no, but that's why we talked about this before about how you really can't mess with people.
bro,
you don't know the
you
extent
you
of people,
do not know, bro.
and especially in college, I was just meeting a lot of these people at the time.
Just
you don't know me and my mental
yeah,
health
but
history.
Be careful.
No, I'm
Be
saying I
very
would never.
careful.
No, I'm not making threats. I'm just saying that like, what if I was really a psychopath? I could have pulled up on that campus, came back to
Relax,
school.
relax.
I'm joking. I
know,
swear to God. But
I know, but chill,
no, I'm just saying
chill,
like
chill.
you really don't know the extent. Like people mess with people all the time, and they truly don't know what they're getting into. And I feel like involving yourself in stuff that people are really passionate about and people's feelings and egos are involved is the worst thing to do. Like so many people have lost their lives due to betrayals and relationships and stuff. So it's like just tread lightly, you know. Not saying that I'm not making threats. I'm just saying that's his advice to anybody.
Yo, she got 6 bottles of alcohol right below the camera.
I'm gonna say this is his general advice to anybody.
Y'all
Like
can't see it.
do not mess with people. Like please don't. And especially when it comes to their family, their lovers, just leave it alone. There's 8 billion people in the world. And it's like I was thinking about this like the other day. I'm like a lot of even my ex friends like messing around with men who have girlfriends. Like I was just surrounded by so many like bottom barrel people. Like I'm sorry, I really was, and like it's just like it makes me mad because where was my self respect to have better people in my life? Like you shouldn't even be friends with girls who are side chicks. Like ugh. And I had 2 friends that were like that, messing with the same guy at the same time.
What were their names?
Sleeping with the
Let's
same,
move on.
both of them sleeping with him at the same exact time, and he had a girlfriend back at school. Like, ew, who are my friends
He was
with?
pulling in Wilt Chamberlain numbers.
He was
He was
definitely
pulling in Embiid numbers.
definitely one of the more attractive people in our town. But once he dated my friend, that was it. Like, off limits. But to these women who have no standards, he was not off limits. And that's my first experience of that friend betrayal stuff in high school. I'm like, oh, that's why these people are not in my life anymore. But that friend still is. And my one good friend from college, my two real friends I ever had in my life. And I had another girl who was a real friend, but we just drifted off. But 3 real friends I ever had in my life, I feel like. And yeah. But Diarra's a bum. we got our way off course. But Diarra's a weirdo too. She's definitely a weirdo. And yeah. I feel like she just needs to, she don't need to do nothing. Do your life, but basically kind of just goes by just said, live your life, but don't be surprised when that bad energy, when that, that you put out in the universe ever comes back to you. That's all, If you're going to do whatever you want to do, live your life the way you live, right? But don't be shocked when that type of stuff catches up to you or when you experience that. Don't crash out when your friend starts messing with your ex. Could imagine one of Diarra's closest friends or a friend starts dating again. Don't be mad when that happens to you. That's all I gotta say. Could those be the same people? Side chicks trying to ruin people's relationships, but they be the same ones on the internet crashing out when their man cheats. Maybe you deserve that. Because you were that girl at one point, were you not?
Well, the biggest news that's occurred within the past 7 days has definitely been the Nicki Minaj and
7 days.
I said within the last 7 days, like within the past week.
Biggest. But really, this was last 48, 72 hours.
But it just,
Yeah, I see what you mean. The last week.
Yes. Nicki Minaj versus Meg Thee Stallion. We're gonna do real quick backstory. So, for those of y'all that don't know, because I know there's a lot of people that might be confused as to why there's any beef in the first place. So, and this is all alleged, but alleged in the sense that everything is he say, she say kind of thing. But there's been a lot of conversations about Megan Thee Stallion being problematic because of the way that she deals with men, the way that she was treating her best friend Kelsey, some of the different stuff that she said to people publicly and privately.
And we were just talking about that too. Meg's a weirdo too, because why were you sleeping with Tori when he was sleeping with your friend Kelsey? But okay, keep going. Sorry. Just saying because that's funny because that ties into what we were just talking about.
So there's all of these alleged things which has rubbed people the wrong way. Supposedly, like we see, like when Drake unfollowed her, and some other people in the industry maybe off-put by
Party too, her ex.
Yeah,
Party,
Parson Fontaine.
That whole thing.
There's just been a lot of people kind of off-put by her actions. I think she had like that issue with the baby at one point, obviously the Tory Lanez situation. So there's just this notion that she might be problematic or so forth. So this is all speculation and all alleged. I'm not Tasha K. So what we believe to happen, and I don't want to speak for you, but supposedly what seems to have happened is that Meg has done something either publicly. Well, she has done stuff publicly that we know Nicki had an issue with, which she addressed.
Yeah.
But who knows what was said privately as well, which we could assume was worse than the things that she's said publicly. But what we know for a fact that happened is that Meg alluded to Nicki, well, she was basically trying to suggest to Nicki that she should abort her baby if she ever got pregnant.
And to drink alcohol. During the hot girl summer era.
Right, when they were on live together. And this is supposedly after Nicki had already mentioned that she's trying to have a baby.
And she got pregnant soon after.
Right. So we know that for a fact to be off-putting, and Nicki, I think, quoted that video in a tweet or something during her recent tirade against Meg on Twitter. So from what we don't know a lot of what might have started it, but that would definitely be one of those things. And I would just think that like her being drunk all the time and the supposed alcoholism, I think she basically just rubbed people the wrong way.
Says crazy things.
And Nicki might have been put off by that, and then that led to her throwing shots at Meg on Red Ruby the Sleeves, right? Yeah, yeah. Like
Yeah.
with the
And I think
the
she was throwing
horses.
shots at her before that too.
Yeah, but I
Like
would
very
imagine
subtle
so.
stuff that people knew was towards Meg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we know.
And people speculate that the WAP video might have been maybe Nicki's mad. Maybe there was conversations behind the scenes about
Oh yeah,
Cardi.
Cardi B. Yeah, that whole.
Because Nicki said that Meg apparently allegedly had called her a dirty Mexican. So it's like, maybe Nicki felt like Meg's my friend, and now you're collabing with Cardi, and then they had literally the biggest female collabs ever.
Yeah.
With that, so she could feel away about that.
Yeah.
But so she's been throwing shots for years, clearly, and then Red Ruby Sleeve was the most clear one.
Yep.
With the Christopher Reeves, Christopher Reeves.
Right, and obviously, the streets talk, and by the streets we just mean the internet. Streets talk. People that's gonna get back to the artists at some point.
Yeah.
Probably immediately. Yeah. Like especially for those who get the bars. Like I caught that one immediately.
And obviously she performed the song in front of them at the VMAs or whatever that was, even though allegedly they left. But, she performed the song. And then she performed her new song, Big Difference. Mm-hmm. And she was like, "Oh, my sons are in the room." So, like, you're clearly talking about me.
Yeah.
So the shots were very clear.
Yeah. So, but it's still all alleged in terms of what started it. But you knew this was coming at some point, that Meg was going to respond. And she dropped her diss track. It was kind of a diss track.
Hiss, by the way. For people who
for anybody who wants to do their research on it. I don't know if I would call it a diss track. There's just subliminal bars in it.
I wouldn't say it was necessarily a diss track, but I definitely think it was a
response.
It was a response to everybody, because she threw multiple shots at multiple people, and it was basically like, I'm the bad guy type. So like she's in her bad guy era. I think Nicki started that whole Chun-Li bad guy era, by the way. But yeah, she's in her bad guy era now.
No, LeBron started it. If you know, you know.
I'm talking about in music.
It's a joke. It's a joke.
No, but everybody wants to be the bad guy now because Nicki started that. So it's just very
the bad
funny.
guy.
Yeah, it's just very funny. Everybody wants a hate train era now, like corny. But yeah, the song Hiss, because that was like the whole thing. Like when snakes hiss at their predators, it's like a warning. So this is basically like a warning song. Like I'm wrapping all this BS up, and I'm coming at Party, I'm coming at Drake, I'm coming at Nicki, I'm coming at anybody who said anything over the past year or 2 years. Tory, So I wouldn't say it's a diss record, but it was definitely a dissing type of record. But it wasn't like a story added on, like where it's direct shots at people, like with name calling and stuff, like a diss track. But it definitely was a dissing type of record.
Right, and I'm not gonna comment on the quality of the song because I'm always of the belief that if you diss somebody, but it's probably my conditioning with rap is that typically diss songs that I've heard have like a certain type of beat to them. So I don't really like club bangers on diss tracks.
If it's a diss track, you want it just to be dissing. Like I don't want to hear this, and like how Drake did back to back.
I hated that
you
song.
made it like a radio song. Like you want to hear something that's like specifically like, I made this directly for you, and on maybe a simple beat.
Right. Not only that, like I hate subliminals.
Yeah, say my name.
Like, I'm just more so like be specific with anything, right? Like, why does back to back exist and nobody's name was said?
Yeah, is it a girl's tour, a world tour, a girl's tour, whatever?
Like, just
why are you not saying Meek?
Just at the person. And I know that that's been a thing forever, and really Jay-Z's the one that really popularized that whole thing in the first place, with the subliminals, but. It's
just the subliminals is actually kind of corny. Like I love the direct. Like when Pusha T dropped Story Adon, that was like one of my favorite moments. He said something Sandy never had. Drake, like he said Drake, like I'm saying your name.
Yeah, just say the name. Especially if you're jumping out the window, like this is gonna be a thing. So just say the name. Like
he said the baby's name. He said Adonis is your son. He's not throwing subliminals like you hiding a child.
You are hiding a child.
He said Adonis is your son.
Yeah, so I like rap beef to be a certain type of way, but I won't comment on the quality of the song. But we could just talk about the content, like you mentioned. She threw shots at Nicki with the.
Don't be mad at Megan. Be mad at Megan's law.
Right.
Which Megan's law is the law that requires people to register as sexual predators. And fun fact, my coworker. Actually, we were just talking about Megan's Law a few weeks ago because she knew the girl because they grew up in the same town, Hamilton, New Jersey. So, Jersey gang.
Don't know if we want to throw a shout out on that.
Well, no, that's not something to brag about. I'm just saying it's just interesting that she just told me about that weeks ago. I'm like, that's so crazy. And now everybody knows about Megan's Law because of Megan Thee Stallion.
But
yeah, that
yeah, there
happened in
was that
Jersey.
bar about Nicki's husband. She threw some shots at Drake about him allegedly getting lipo, getting his body done. Um,
She threw shots at Party. Forgot what the shot. Oh, she told him about something about he sniffing on that Tina Snow. I don't know if that was like coke allegations, but
yeah,
talking about Party. And yeah.
yeah. So there's a few different shots he threw around, and then Nicki went on an absolute monster tirade. Definitely Twitter Hall of Fame worthy, probably.
Yeah, Twitter, station head, Instagram Live. It was just very crazy.
Going crazy. So this is where the barbs are gonna kill me.
Barbs, please don't dox us. They've been on a roll. Well, try that actually. Try that, and we got something for that. Go ahead, try it. Right, so try it.
I mean, it wouldn't be hard. Like I put my first and last name everywhere. It's not hard to find. I probably make it easy for people.
But it's just it's really psychopathic what a lot of them are doing with this doxing stuff. But
yeah, people put more effort into getting money than put that same
more
effort.
More effort into defending someone who they don't know, who doesn't know them, than to get a job, a real job. Too much time in our hands.
But anyway, this is probably where they tune out of the conversation. Now, here's my thing. To first give her some slack, because a lot of the backlash that Nicki got was, of course, her acting like she's coked out and doing a lot of different. I mean, this has always been her, but the different mannerisms and the screaming and just the acting like odd, manic kind of sort of episode thing. Number one, we know that's been her personality forever.
Literally a performing artist kid.
But where this doesn't work in her favor, and to even before I get into that, the whole reason why I actually believe Megan did this was for the same reason that, like, I think she wanted to get this reaction from Nicki.
And she knew she would.
Because when you can't go against somebody that's bigger than you unless you have something so groundbreaking and earth-shattering that you could destroy them. Like, and not destroy in that sense, but like where people can confirm that you beat them in the rap beef. So like Pusha T obviously had so much information against Drake. So if you don't have that, which Megan clearly doesn't have, as far as we know,
all she could talk about is her husband.
As far as we know,
yeah,
the next best way is to make that person self-sabotage themselves. And that's kind of a little bit like Nicki's still going to be whoever she is. Like her fans are still going to always support her. But for those that might be on the fence or borderline or other businesses and stuff like that, this is the way to impact people. So this kind of rant and tirade doesn't necessarily work in her favor because people do have connections. And if she's concerned about being blackballed, which she is all the time, like these kind of things do paint you in a bad light. And the reason why I'm saying that is because the manic episode it looked like she had on the internet, and I know part of it might be a character, but regardless, it still is portrayed a certain way. So you're like,
and you still could be like a liability. Like you might not get invited to the Rock Nation brunch now,
right?
Because Meg's ties to Rock Nation. You brought up Rock Nation brunch in your rant, and now you liable to spat like that at the Rock Nation brunch.
Not that she needs the Rock Nation brunch either, which is of course what people are gonna say, but there's a couple things that happened from this where I could see it being spun like not in her favor. So number one of the first things she said is making fun of Megan's foot that she supposedly got shot in, right? So now you're making fun of women and domestic violence and gun abuse against black women. So that's number one, because I don't know what happened there that night, of course. I don't know if she got shot or not, but something happened to her foot. And if we're assuming what the court says was true, and I'm not saying it was or wasn't, but if we assume it was, you're making fun of somebody getting shot, which I could see a specific type of crowd being turned off by because of domestic assault victims, and that obviously is a very sensitive area.
Yeah.
Number two, while she wasn't directly making fun of Meg's dead mother, she was trying to clown it.
Yeah.
And was rapping it on a beat, your dead mama, like that whole kind of thing.
Yeah.
now you're bringing in dead relatives and stuff like that. Now, here's my thing. When Pusha T was bringing up OVO 40 and his health issues, it's kind of a similar situation. There's nothing in that beef that had anything to do with 40.
Yeah.
And I'm a believer that in a beef, the person who defines the rules of war is the one that's willing to take it to whatever level. So this applies in that scenario too. So Meg brought
Yeah,
up her husband.
yeah. That's the thing. You let the person bring up the person first.
Right. So the
So you want to talk
rules
about other people in my life? I'm talking about people in your life.
the
That's hip
rules
hop.
are now pushed to whoever's willing to take it to the next level. So that's where Nicki decided to take it. So while I don't necessarily agree with doing it, I think that the rules of war is she pushed it to that level. So now that's where the
It's
war
fair
exists.
game, and we've seen it time after time. Like we can't judge this and then praise other rap beefs. So we've seen it time after time after time. Like someone brought up Tupac, talked about somebody dying from sickle cell in one of his rap beefs.
Yeah.
So like this is nothing new. People say egregious things because we don't have to agree that this is a good thing about rap. But in history of rap has always been about competition. I'm the best. I'm the best. I'm the best. We got beef. You bring out my wife. I'm talking about your husband. You're this. You're that. You're that. I'm talking about everybody. Your aunt, your grandma, your cousin, your baby cousin. Like when someone pushes the boundary, now it's fair game.
Yeah.
So,
So it's what
are
it
you guys
is.
real hip hop fans or not?
But in my opinion, once there's a certain level of back and forth, after a certain point and after certain lines get crossed, then there's going to be I'll invite you to a physical competition. And I'm literally just gonna offer to fight you. And then just have that be it. It could be televised, all that stuff. I'm just gonna want to physically fight you. And if lines get pushed even further, then people can die. It's just unfortunately what it is, right? Like we could say the Pusha T and Drake beef initially started because Birdman didn't pay Pharrell for a beat like decades ago. And as a result of that, if you look at the timeline of things, that guy at Pusha T's concert was put into critical condition and was stabbed allegedly a bunch of times and was put into critical condition, which all started from Pharrell not getting paid allegedly, supposedly, for a beat, right? So things could end up getting to a certain point. And for me, if certain things get brought up or certain lines get crossed, that's just where we're gonna take it.
Yeah.
But yeah, what do you think about the whole situation?
I mean,
I'll be right back.
I gotta pick up laptop. I see two sides, right? So I see the side of like Nicki's side of she's just fed up, right? Like a lot of sly, slick stuff happens behind the scenes that we would never really know about that she's dealing with. They've been messing with her for years. Like, we talked about like behind the, off camera how like Remy Ma and I think Little Kim, whatever, they had like the obituary for Nicki, like we're having a funeral for her. People have continuously keep talking about her husband, like where are the shots at me? You keep talking about who I married and this and that, but what about the shots at me? It's like people have been kind of messy with Nicki like for years, right? Like using you for a feature, wanting you for the feature, bigging you up, and then like talking about you, like Ruby Rose, right? Been bigging up Nicki for years and years and years, right? But now you see her close friend, and you could change your mind. You're allowed to.
I'm gonna expound on that.
The way she dragged her, like you could say, like you could disagree with the whole bringing up the mom, right? But now Ruby Rose talking about, oh, you're 40, blah blah. I was like, but now you kind of showing you're telling yourself you're saying all that, but you were trying to get a feature and you be gassing her up behind the scenes, I mean in public, but behind the scenes now she's old, she that. You talking about my son. You could disagree with what she said about the mom, Meg's mom, but all the other stuff you're saying about you're old, this that, like now you're telling yourself. So I just feel like Nicki's just fed up. Like all these people are using me, they're playing me, blah blah blah. Humans are allowed to react. Like just because she's famous and older doesn't mean she's not allowed to have a breaking point. And I just feel like she's reaching a breaking point, and she's just letting it out. Letting it out. And I don't agree with that. So just off camera, I still feel like I would be like, no matter what I would go through, and like I'm not in her position, but I would just be surgical about it. Be very like tactical. Be very play chess. You know me, I'm a chess move maker. I mean, I'm a chess mover person when it comes to beef. Like, so you're not gonna get like we just talked about this in the last topic. You're not gonna get maybe chaotic a version of me. You're gonna get chess moves. So you might be trying to do all the stuff to me, but behind the scenes, I'm cooking up something that's gonna do more damage than me fighting you or me calling you names.
Yeah.
Like I've gotten people fired for trying to mess with me. So try if you want to. So like I'm that's why I feel like it's so much better to be tactical, surgical, like sly with it. Don't lash out. Don't go on live. Get in the booth and say these hard hitting bars. You could say, yeah, you lied on your dead mom, but say that in a such a bar that nobody could even try to flip it that you're bringing up her mom, you're disrespecting her mom. Cause now it sounds like that when you can literally just say something like a one liner about like you lied on your mom. That's wild. Like you love your mom, but you swore on your mom to party that you didn't sleep with these niggas and you did. Like that's crazy. But put that in a rap. And I feel like Nicki could do this so much better than the rants. And I know she might be fed up, and I feel like people are allowed to express themselves the way they want to. But if it were me, it would not be what this was. This was a lot.
Do you think she's really spiraling with it? Because I can't really actually tell.
I can't tell because I feel like a part of it is trolling. But I don't know. I feel like part of it is kind of somewhat spiraling too. But I feel like I hate the whole label of somebody spiraling just because they're standing up for themselves.
No, it's not because they're standing up for themselves. It's like the way that it looks very similar to manic episodes.
Yeah, because it's like, but the thing about it, the reason why it might not be so manic though is because it's cohesive. Manic is kind of all over the place, but she's saying cohesive thoughts. Like she's staying on brand. It's not like she's jumping subjects.
That's not what manic means, though.
But yeah, that's true. That's true. Because manic can still be hyper fixated on the topic and just keep talking about it. So but it's hard to tell because I've been there. I've been extremely disrespected and fed up and be like, you've seen. I'd be typing up whole paragraphs on my phone of messages I'd be wanting to send to people, right? Like when I'm mad. And it could look manic because like you just have a lot to say. But it might not be manic. You just might have a lot to say because you've been holding it in, You've been letting shit slide and then now you finally have a lot to say. So it's very borderline between what's considered a manic episode and what's genuinely just somebody who's fed up, who's just getting everything out their chest.
You know what my thing is? Really what my issue is, because I want to make that clear, it's not that I have an issue with her responding.
Yeah.
And this is what you were just saying really about, be tactical. It's really just the way that she responded.
Yeah.
Is that get in the studio. Like it takes away
the rap culture of it.
Didn't somebody just say like, did somebody get doxxed or somebody for like saying that Nicki don't? Oh yeah, she did. I think something happened to this girl where she was like, Nicki doesn't know that she's Nicki Minaj or something like that or something like that. Yeah,
because Nicki's been fighting with people on TikTok lately apparently too. But yeah, she's like, Nicki Minaj doesn't know that she's Nicki Minaj, which wasn't an insult. She was just saying like, come on, you're that girl, act like it.
It is.
Then Nicki
gets
defensive. It is kind of it is kind of insult because like, girl, I am her. So what do you mean I don't know who?
But I feel the same way.
You might not know me. Like just because that's how I react. That's because that's who I am. Like you must not know who Nicki is. Then if you want Nicki to react something like a different way, who's not me, then you don't know me. So I see both sides. Cause that's the thing. Who are we to tell Nicki how to react and how to respond? Like she's herself. She's her her own person. And somebody talked about your husband. Somebody that you love, the father of your child. Like we can't tell people how to react. Like we just said earlier, people crash out and kill sometimes over stuff like this. So who are we to tell her how to react? Like I get it, it's rap, but also you're still human at the end of the day.
Because here's the thing. For example, I'm just saying what my preference would be. Like for example, we have Drake and Pusha T. They had their rap beef, right? And they put it on songs and stuff like that. And
back-to-back songs too. It was like. Back and forth. We got like W Freestyle.
We got Adonis. We got all types of songs.
It was like, and then we had the Pusha T era where he was dropping his album, and like it was a lot of back and forth music that we got during that time.
Right, and then still within that, you see that there was a whole lot of stuff that happened outside of those things, like Pusha T getting banned from Canada.
Yeah,
people
buying all the seats for his show.
Right, getting put in critical condition shortly after. So there's a whole other list of things that could still occur if you want to have those things occur.
But at least it was music.
Nobody's coming on live and doing all those different things.
And tweeting.
And while, of course, that might be who she is, and that's perfectly fine, my preference would just be for it to be just like hard hitting, like this is tough. Because you said she put that, what was it, a tweet? and she was like, for a free beat, you could hit Megan Raw.
Yeah.
Like something like that on a beat where they take the beat
Yeah,
out.
because like now it's like, dang, like you tweeted it, so that doesn't sting no more. But imagine you put that in a bar. I
And
bet
she
would have
could still
been.
do it.
She could still, but it won't hit the same
It
because we
won't.
heard it already. Like we saw you tweet it. Imagine if she would have said that in a bar, we would have been like,
Right. And that's
whoa,
just
that's a good comeback to the Megan's Law thing. Because it's like, what you talking about my husband when everybody's hitting it wrong? Like she could have said something. She could have
yeah.
easily made it like hit, and like it's like, dang, because that's how you win. Because then people would not be able to like say nothing. Like, yeah, people could keep talking about your husband and who you married, blah 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 blah. But let's talk. Let's like how Richard T said. Like, let's stop talking about our like the who we date. Let's talk about you. Let's talk about who you are as a person. Let's talk about like what he said. Let's talk about character. Let's talk about who you are. Let's stop talking about my wife, the kids, this that. Let's talk about you.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I don't think Megan has anything that she can say to Nikki.
Yeah. The only thing you could say is that she's maybe a little crazed out and like the coke allegations. But
that's
even
like
that, like, okay,
that's not anything substantial.
yeah. But
So
we could say, yeah, the whole industry hit. Like, you slept with your best friend's fling at the time. You like, you have a lot of issues, alcoholism problems. Like, there's so much you could say about her.
yeah,
And it's like, that's why people like she probably don't want that smoke. That's why you brought it. Well, maybe she does because
you don't know.
what you're doing when you bring up someone's husband. You know
Right.
that you know the wrath is coming.
right. Because that's why I'm trying to question what was the tactical aspect of it.
It's kind
her.
of corny that all these girls that beef with Nikki, all they talk about is the coke allegations and the husband. What else? Like talk about the body. You want to talk about Nikki? That's something they could have. Some of her body, like I mean, she looks better now, but she was looking a mess not so long ago.
Yeah,
She was on the stage, be doing weird stuff on the stage. Talk about that stuff.
which is why I actually liked Ruby's response more than
What did Ruby say?
Megan said, but just in the close friends thing.
Yeah.
And for those of y'all that don't know, Ruby Rose, somebody in her
body.
close friends, on Instagram, somebody screenshotted her talking shit about
Which
Nikki.
is wild because I feel like you gotta figure out who that person was.
Yeah, you gotta close
That's
out.
That's crazy.
Your
close friends should just be who you know in real life, like your real friends, like your day ones.
And this is all alleged, I guess.
No, this was a screen. I saw the screen recording.
Oh, was it recording?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. I just saw a screenshot.
Yeah, no, I saw the recording. Like someone tapping through the story.
Oh, cool. So it's confirmed that she posted that, and I think the things that she said in there would be more hard hitting than anything Meg said.
Yeah.
But I will also say at the same time, because people were saying say it with your chest, but my thing is that most of the people that are considered barbs don't even have real profile pictures. They have like these finstas anyway where they talk shit. So it's kind of like you can't really say it with your chest when you don't say it with your chest either. So it's kind of like throwing a stone with the glass house kind of situation.
But it still is kind of true though, because if you're gonna speak on it and publicly defend Meg, then the public defend her.
But it wasn't really public per se.
Yeah, but Meg might be in her close friends.
She could be.
And I think that the rap community, they're all kind of friends and cool. So that could have been her way of showing support to Meg. But
the only credence I was trying to give her is if you just assume that was like the equivalent of just having that conversation in a group chat or like privately or something like that.
Yeah, but then
because everybody does that.
Yeah,
because everybody does that, right? Like we have conversations that we would never say about, like even this topic. There's certain things that I would say and I would never say on
But the only
camera.
thing about that though is that she would do all that like in her group chat or her close friends. But I promise you, Nikki, like the next day were to hit her up for a collab, she would take it. And now you just look crazy to your friends and your close friends because like, are you gonna stand on your morals or not?
Maybe not.
And Ruby, no offense, like she's like the messenger is not the right person. Like you defended Ian Connor, all those women came out about him and him being like a rapist, and you defended him. But then you're gonna talk about who Nikki married, but like look who you defended. She's still cool with Cardi, like Playboy Cardi, and he shot a gun at you. And she just posted her story like a few days ago of them on FaceTime together. And he literally shot a gun at you. So no offense, she's not the right person to talk about who somebody chose as a partner. Because she's kind of one of those women who I think was young and got used by older men. And unfortunately, women like that who are fast, right, end up having, like, I think a lot of traumas and weird emotional ties to, traumas and stuff. So they're very male-centered women. So she's not the person, you kind of sound like a hypocrite. But that's a whole, I like Ruby, so I'm not trying to bash on her, but it's just like, I feel like people are just too hypocritical in situations like this. Everybody's moral compass moves. Because they're coming for Nikki about talking about a mom, right? But some people who are really close with Cardi B are saying that, or Cardi B fans are saying that, but Cardi B has tweets, multiple tweets telling Akbar to dig up her dead mom. Or your mom is dancing in her grave, like literally disrespecting the mom. Like Nicki was just saying apologize, like conjure her up and apologize. But Cardi B was literally saying your dead mom, that dig her up. Cardi B has said that stuff too. But those same people who are Cardi B like friends and fans are now dragging Nicki. Like I just think people pick and choose when they want to be moral. Yeah, I don't like that. Like
I see that a lot.
Stand clear on the same page for every situation. It's like people are talking about like she's disrespecting her dead mother when she literally didn't do that. Like she just said you should conjure up your mother and apologize. Like yeah, maybe the word conjure was a little rough. Maybe your dead mama was a lot. But it's not like she's disrespectful. Like said like your mom, your dead ass, blah blah blah, whack ass, blah blah blah. Like it's not like she's disrespecting her mom directly. But again, it's disrespectful to talk about. Like that's a sensitive topic. But I just feel like this is not new in rap. Like, and these were the same people. I first talk about the goalposts. Same people that be in the club like twerking to smoking on that hot pack. They'd be like, smoking on that hot pack. They'd be like repeating the bars. So it's in one sense you're glorifying killing culture. You're glorifying disrespecting, dancing on somebody's grave, spitting on somebody's grave. What Kanye had? Piss on your grave. Piss on your grave. You know that song? Him and what's his name? Schoolboy Q. Was it Schoolboy Q in that?
No, it's Travis.
Oh, Travis. Oh my God, I'm thinking
Schoolboy Q.
I'm thinking of what's that other song with Schoolboy? That part. That was the same era. But people listen to the music all the time where they disrespect dead people and they don't even know what they're rapping. They're just literally rapping because the song sounds cool.
But I think that's why I don't think people even know what they're saying.
But still, that's still hypocrisy to me because you're saying stuff and repeating stuff. They don't even know what you're talking about. But then now you're mad at Nicki for saying that. But you literally talking about smoking a Tuka pack, like you're talking about a dead person that you don't know, that you're disrespecting a dead man, a dead kid. He was a kid, and you're repeating that because you think it's cool. You think you sound cool and sound hip and whatever that you're trying to do, right? But then now your moral compass is all of a sudden like, she's talking about her mother. That's so wrong. But people rap songs that talk about killing people all day. Like my whole thing is if you're gonna stand by something, stand by it in every aspect of your life. Don't just stand by a kid you don't like, Nicki. If you think disrespecting dead people is whack or talking about the dead is whack, then don't talk about the dead in any aspect. Because you sound even crazier repeating lyrics talking about a dead person that you don't even know. Who's somebody's son, somebody's dad, somebody's brother, you know? So please, people are just too hypocritical for me. Too hypocritical. And like I said, they just move the goalposts. So whatever aligns with them at the right time. You know? They want to sound like they want to sound like they're so, holier than thou, and they want to detest anything that Nicki's saying about Meg's mom. But then the next post in their story is Tukaville smoking on Tuka pack. No,
I don't know if I've ever seen a woman say those words.
Are you serious? Women be trying to cosplay gangsters all the time, throwing up gang signs, and Ruby's the biggest one. What'd she say? My nigga taught me gang signs. Did she say that? What's that song? One of her most popular songs?
Don't know.
I remember everybody was making fun of her to like, are you blood or crip? Like she be trying to cosplay that gangster stuff all the time. So you know for sure a lot of these women are repeating a lot of these gangster songs. So they think it's quirky and cool to be like, I'm a gangster. Gun. Like, I see it a lot. So it's just I believe if you're gonna have a stance on something, it gotta be consistent.
That's why I tend to not say anything because
most people are hypocrites.
Because that's why. It's like I'm never gonna say any, like if I'm bringing something up, it's because my mentality on that thing is consistent across all boards.
Yeah.
So
same.
Which is why I brought up the Pusha T thing in the beginning. So I wasn't so offended when Pusha T brought up 40 and his health condition.
Me neither.
So I can't
that's
be
a crazy bar. Like
I can't be so offended about this either.
Yeah.
Or any of the past stuff that people, like the egregious things people have said in the past. So I'm just consistent. So, but that's like one of the things I've hated about this whole thing so far from all sides is that everybody is throwing stones in a glass house. And this is why it makes sense to not say anything, because like Meg is responding to Meg is responding to Nicki's diss and she's saying certain things, but it's like these kind of like you have this whole other thing that all these other things that people can say in response. So it's just kind of like it makes sense to not say anything at
Yeah.
all when there's like nobody's perfect. So somebody can
Yeah.
always say everything, can always say something about you, but there's some
At
people
least
that
if you had a solid stance or something and say something, you don't look crazy.
yeah. So it's just like the fans' responses to certain things. It's just like it's so backwards. Like the example I gave you when they were saying that Ruby was throwing a stone and blah 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 and say it with your chest. But I'm like, yo, you're on a
Yeah,
Finsta.
you're not
You
saying
have
it
a
with your
fake
chest.
profile.
Yeah. So it's like, yeah.
It just
And that's why it's funny because I noticed it's like, especially I'm on Twitter a lot, so many arguments are circular.
circular.
So many it could be either could be thrown back to a person about being a hypocrite. Because humans are naturally just hypocritical.
Right, which is why everybody should
Because
just shut the fuck up.
we're so yeah, exactly. And like, or like I said, if you have a solid stance on something that you've been consistent with your whole life, right? Like obviously, most people would agree, and obviously this us. We have a solid stance on like rape and murder. So we always gonna talk about that stuff. But then you can easily say you're a hypocrite because you'll listen to music from somebody who's considered a rapist. People still play R. Kelly, right? People still play Trey songs. People swore up and down that they hated Kanye. He's anti-Semitic, and he's not who everybody tries to act like he is. But then you playing "Can't Tell Me Nothing" on your graduation song, on your graduation post. So it's like there's too many hypocrisies and hypocrites. So many arguments just become very circular every single time. So
Yeah.
it's just funny because you see it, like, because there's always could be a rebuttal. It's like, but this you, this you, this you, this you. Like you could keep saying this you about everything.
Which is why
Because
everybody should just
people, yeah.
be quiet about it. I mean, you could say, because even me saying that, you could say that's a circular argument because we're on a podcast talking about it.
Yeah.
So you can say these things forever.
But we accept that because we're self-aware.
And also the things that I'm saying on my podcast, I believe this to be truthful across all scenarios. So that's the one thing where people don't make sense is that they don't ever point out the things when they're wrong or where their inconsistencies might be. Like people aren't just self-aware. So like it's just that's really the biggest thing I've taken away from it is that on all parties, Nicki, Cardi B, Partisan, like all these different parties that's involved in a specific thing, Ruby, it's just stones in glass house.
Yeah. Like I feel like with all
and from the fans too.
Yeah, from the fans too.
Like they're part of it too. Like you're making these comments about millionaire beef. Like
you and your mom's on your mom's Wi-Fi.
Some of these things that you're saying too, like I'm sure that they're applicable to people in your life as well.
Yeah, literally, that's the biggest thing. Yeah, you probably know somebody.
Yeah, you know somebody. Your friend is probably like this. I've seen that so many times where it's like somebody will say something talking shit about a specific type of person, and I'm like, yo, like you're friends with the person. That's
some of the barbers might be saying, "Oh, Meg was sleeping with Tory Lanez when he was with Kelsey," but you got friends that's sleeping with.
That's a bop it.
Yeah,
the whole bop it.
Or Meg's ran through by the whole industry, but you had friends that was ran through by the whole junior class, the whole high school, the whole college campus. So,
which is why nobody should say anything about anything.
But your friend probably got more bodies than Meg.
And if we even count the people that people are saying it is, it's still not a lot either. But I would assume.
But that's what we
based
know.
on the behavior, you can
it
make
was Bunny
assumptions.
Bag Yo, the baby, I think, right? Tory Lanez, Party, the soccer player guy that she was with, Drake probably potentially. Who else? G-Eazy. Who else was she seeing with? I think she was like messing with Trey Songz. So right now we're at 8 already, and I'm sure her body count is definitely in probably 20s, 30s. I don't know. I'm not gonna talk about her, but because obviously her own personal life at home, right? And she's had most people that she dated, and that's 8 people I could say on top of my head. But
yeah, because even within that argument, then you got the people that they believe in my body, my choice, sexual liberation. So it's just
however you live.
It's just like there's so many different like circular arguments to everything, and it's like one of those things where I can't necessarily understand women beefs because of these kind of things where there's just so much like. women talk so fucking much.
Yeah.
So it's just like they're always just so strongly opinionated. There's all these different opinions that they have on everything. They have to have an opinion on everything and comment on everything. And when you comment on everything, you have an opinion on everything, then you will find that you're not very consistent in your thought processes. So basically, this whole thing is just not really for me. Obviously, as a male, but
In my opinion, I just feel like don't jump out of the window and say anything that you know you're not consistent in your mindset about. Like
or
don't
that
don't put it in a rap beef, don't tweet it, nothing that you know that somebody could come back and say this you. Don't do
or
it.
yeah, because you said
Don't talk
inconsistencies,
about
but
rapists when you messing with rapists or when your friends are rapists, alleged rapists.
But in addition to inconsistencies, also just things that people can make a negative comment about in general.
Yeah.
If you're in a beef, because it's just gonna be like the first thing.
Yeah, like the thing with
utilized.
we keep bringing Pusha T because obviously he was one of the best to do it in recent times, right? If you're gonna have beef, then talk about concrete stuff. Like Pusha T didn't hide a kid, so you could talk about somebody hiding a child because you didn't do that yourself.
And not only that,
And he probably not friends with people who did that.
and not only that, he really didn't have anything so obvious that Drake could say even outside of that specific type of topic.
Mm-hmm.
But
And like, I mean, the argument could be though, right? Like he talked about Drake's deadbeat dad, right? But Pusha T probably has friends with deadbeats. But even still, that's not necessarily.
that ain't me.
Yeah, it's not me. You
We
can't say it about me.
We're talking about
Yeah, you were talking about us versus us. So like, yeah, I might have friends that are deadbeats, and I still might have the same sentiment. But you as like him talking to Drake, he's like, but that impacts you more than maybe my friend.
There's another thing
Yeah,
that I brought up before, and your retort was that. Well, I'll say it first. Nicki making fun of Meg's flow on the live.
Oh yeah.
When the flow was perfectly fine when it was time to do music and songs and all that other stuff, but then the second you have a beef with the person, now all of a sudden her flow is trash.
And I always hate that about women, especially when you beef with somebody, all of a sudden they're the opposite of what they were to you.
And the way that you responded was that maybe it's because she has been doing a similar sort of flow for
years
now in comparison when they were working together. But even still, it's like one of those things.
And I low-key don't feel like her flow was as it is now than it was back then. I feel like
me either.
Like if you think about Hot Girl Summer, she was talking like slow. Even WAP, it was like it wasn't like how Nicki was kind of mocking her. Like I feel like she's definitely been doing that a lot more lately. Like she wasn't doing all that really when she first came out.
Like even
as
body.
much. Yeah.
Look at her.
Like yeah, her flows definitely weren't like that too much. And like so. I feel like
that's what I mean. It's like
mocking the flow,
it's
but
just
it still is. It's
inconsistent.
It's like you be friends with a girl, right? And you're the prettiest girl in the world, right? But you beefing out all of a sudden, you ugly, you this, you that. It's like whoa.
And I can imagine, like I said, I can imagine the same thing if there was an Ice Spice beef where and then she gonna bring up, you think you the shit? You're not even a fault.
Yeah, like what is that? That's so trash. Like because that's how people are. Like they'll be friends with somebody or be cool with somebody. But then they use everything against them all of a sudden when we're not friends.
But just like you said with the Ruby thing, right? All that stuff those things didn't matter before when you were trying to get XYZ out of what you wanted out of the situation.
Lada was a big example. Because Lada was in Nicki's DMs begging for a feature. But then all of a sudden, you don't get the feature, not just him beefing. All of a sudden, super freaky grandma, super freaky granny, all of a sudden is your man's a rapist. But none of that was an issue for you a month ago when he was in my DM trying to get a feature, sending me songs. So it's just like you look stupid.
It's 3:30 in the morning.
You look like a hater and a weirdo. Well, it is.
Jesus. Yeah, that's why I'm like, all of this sort of women beef is just like
embarrassing.
It's because it's just all over the place. But we'll see what comes of it, and of course we'll keep y'all updated with our thoughts on this whole situation.
Yeah, we might have more next week, right? We don't know what's gonna happen in a week. Oh my God. Yeah, we don't know.
Nicki might drop a song.
She should drop a song. I mean, I think it will still hit at this point.
If she drops a diss track?
I just wish she dropped it. Like, she could have easily that whole day, because the song dropped Friday morning, she could have easily that whole day Friday in the studio writing. Don't say nothing. And drop a diss.
Yeah.
It would have been crazy. Probably would have charted. Potentially.
Yep.
Because his charted, I think. Well, I don't know if it charted for Billboard yet, right? I don't know if they count that, but it was like number one on iTunes or Apple Music. Or
who cares where it charts? I want the bars.
Yeah.
who knows where Adidon charted, if at all, which it probably didn't.
That's the thing. Like
he
caring
used-
about the number stuff is kind of whack.
Yo,
Like
stop bringing up numbers and
yeah.
money. It's
and
not
Nikki
about
does that
numbers.
too. Like we don't care.
We don't
Like
care about numbers and money.
because you had a fan base. They're gonna-
Cornballs get money and numbers too.
Yeah. But obviously, like you said, Story Adon, I don't think that charted anywhere. I don't think that was
It-
even
it
an
couldn't
official
have. Yeah, it
release. It
wasn't
was like a
released 'cause-
YouTube release or a SoundCloud
Because it was on
release.
Jay-Z's beat, so it wasn't
Yeah.
even like a.
Wasn't cleared.
Yeah.
And he ate Drake up. Like I'm sure that
Hey.
no, I'm sure that
Yo.
this haunts him to this day. We bodied him, and then with the blackface picture sealed the deal. Like that picture of him with the black painted face looking stupid. Oh man, that was just like
What was that bar he said
Chef's
recently? He
kiss.
said something about whips like American slaves.
who said that?
Drake.
I don't remember that. But why you talking about American slaves as a Canadian, a mixed breed Canadian?
Anyway, thank you guys for
you know what,
watching.
I guess his dad, right? His dad got the roots.
Thank you guys for
probably.
watching. This has
I just think
been
anybody
the
who
a couple
no,
of
but
things.
listen, real quick, I just think anybody who has no ties.
About to die.
I know, but I just think anybody who has no ties to like actual slavery really should talk about it. But Drake might come from his dad's side, but I actually get offended even when like non-Black Americans try to bring up slavery and stuff. It's just like your ancestors weren't even here to experience that. So please watch your mouth.
Neither were yours. Thank you guys for watching. This has been the A Couple of Things podcast, and we will see y'all next week.